So we are live from Goodison Park here on Talksport 2. Our commentary team, Ian Danter and Perry Groves, are alongside me, Chris Latcham. Let's talk about Bournemouth then. They made a really eye-catching signing late in the window. They've changed their goalkeeper for today. They now have the world's most expensive goalkeeper between the sticks, Perry and Kepa Arrizabalaga. Fair to say, the fact he's lining up for Bournemouth, his career hasn't perhaps gone how he might have seen it a few years ago.
Yeah, not at all. I think it's the inconsistency, because I always think that he looks like he's not robust enough and strong enough to play in the Premier League. You know, I think he struggled with the physicality. I didn't realise he was 29. He looks like Tom Hanks out of Big, you know, when his kit's too big for him. Remember when David De Gea first went to Manchester United and you think, actually, your kit's too big, mate, you need to fill out a little bit. That's what he looks like to me. So he's got a great chance now to re-establish himself. He'll be Bournemouth's number one. At the other end of the pitch, Evan Nilsson. He's got big boots to fill. See Dominic Solanke getting 19 league goals last season, so he's got to start chipping in a few goals. But he sets off the press as well. So obviously we're just getting the Z-Cars theme tune starting before the game, trying to get the Everton fans revved up.
And revved up they are, with the flags flying, the sun shining, and the fans cheering as their heroes make their way out of the tunnel here just in front of us at Goodison Park. Everton, of course, in their home strip of blue, and Bournemouth in their home strip, the away team in the red and black stripes. Just one final question on Bournemouth. They've signed players from Barcelona, Juventus, Porto. Is this a sign they're looking to move up into a different mini-league within the Premier League?
Yeah, I think they're just looking to establish themselves in that sort of the mid-echelon of the Premier League. Everyone thought it was a gamble when Bill Foley, the Bournemouth owner, brought Andone Iraola in, but he's obviously put his philosophy on the football club, and it's how far they've come. You mentioned Evan Nilsson. They bought him for £40 million, and there's probably no other league in the world where a club the size of Bournemouth could afford to buy a player for £40 million.
So the players have lined up in the middle of the field. And they're just going to do their handshake now. And I think it's probably time I hand over to our match commentators, Ian Danter and Perry Groves, on what will be a poignant day for the fans of the Old Blue Club.
Yes, indeed, Chris. Thank you very much. A very good afternoon to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2 from Goodison Park. We had panic buying yesterday at the end of the transfer window. Well, these two clubs can't buy a win yet at the moment. That may change this afternoon for one of these two sides, but the Premier League season has started especially poorly for the Toffees. 2 heavy defeats, no goals scored, focused, an unwanted spotlight on how the blue half of Merseyside have struggled early on. But that 3-0 Carabao Cup win here against Doncaster on Tuesday was a welcome bit of positivity, as Sean Dyche looks to end a run of 5 August League games at Everton, where his teams have failed to score, never mind win. Bournemouth, the only Premier League side with 2 draws to their name from their opening 2 fixtures. Andone Iraola's utter indignation at the VAR denial of what would have been a late winner last Sunday against Newcastle was there for all to see. And ironically, it was the lack of VAR that irked him in midweek when West Ham's winner in the Cup did not go for review in Stockley Park when he believed it should have. Team news: Everton make 2 changes from the heavy defeat at Spurs. It's a first Premier League start for Iliman Ndiaye, back in English football after his spell with Sheffield United and moving away last season. Seamus Coleman also retains the right-back berth he had here against Doncaster in midweek. It's Dixon and Doucouré that miss out. So Pickford in goal, Coleman, Tarkowski, Keenan, Mikolenko, Iropenham and Gay, Harrison and Jai McNeil behind Calvert-Lewin. For Bournemouth, just 1 change from the draw against Newcastle. That is the aforementioned Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal in place of Neto, who's gone on loan to Arsenal. Otherwise unchanged. Kepa in goal, Araujo, Zabani, Senesi and Kerkez, Christie and Cook, Semenyo, Tavernier and Kluivert behind Evan Nilsson. Now, away to our right at the park end, they are now holding up a load of banners that show the name Super Kev in memory of Kevin Campbell, who passed away recently at the age of just 54. 159 appearances and 39 goals for the Toffees between 1999 and 2005. He made over 550 club appearances in all, including for Perry's former club Arsenal. And such a sad loss, and there's a round of applause that we're all joining in with here around Goodison Park. A lovelier, kinder man you could not wish to meet, Perry.
Yeah, very much so, Dance. An old teammate of mine, Kev. I've known him since he was 17. Just a brilliant character, beautiful soul, big heart. Lit up the room whenever he walked in. He'll be sorely missed, Dance.
Well, we are ready for the off here on Talksport 2 between these two sides searching for their first Premier League win of the season. We'll keep you updated with everything that's going on around the country. Earlier today, you heard it on Talksport, Arsenal down to 10 men but salvaged a point in the end against Brighton. Declan Rice, the man sent off. He will now miss the North London derby with that sending off after the international break. That game will be. Burnley-Blackburn also finished 1-1 here on Talksport 2, and there was a red card in that as well. I'll run you through the other lunchtime scores in a bit. But Bournemouth are about to get us underway in their red and black striped shirts, black shorts and socks. Everton in their traditional blue and white, and it's rolled back by Justin Kluivert. And Bournemouth are kicking from right to left as we look, defending the park end, which is to our right, attacking the Gladys Street end. We're sat about halfway back in the old main stand here at Goodison Park with the Bullens Road opposite us. That's where the Bournemouth fans are, in the lower paddock just opposite us and to our right. A picture perfect day for football this afternoon. Barely a cloud in the sky. Hopefully it's the same where you are, wherever you're listening to Talksport 2. And Jack Harrison trying to make inroads in the Bournemouth half of the field, but it's rolled back for Kepa to get his first touch as a Bournemouth player. Rolls it out to Marcus Tavernier. Tavernier pressurised by Coleman, and then Calvert-Lewin tried to lay it back to Seamus Coleman down the right-hand side of the box, but it didn't come off, and Bournemouth win themselves a throw. Nearly a minute gone on Talksport 2. 0-0 the score. Elsewhere, Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 2. Cardiff still without a win. Coventry 0, Norwich 1. Good away win for Norwich in the Championship. Blackpool 2, Wycombe 2, still no win for Blackpool in League 1. Rotherham 2, Huddersfield 1. Gillingham 1, Chesterfield 1. They still lead League 2 under their stewardship of Mark Bonner. And Port Vale 2, Doncaster 3. Doncaster into second into that division. Bournemouth had the ball at the back with Julian Araujo. Rolling it up to Antoine Semenyo. Early ball down the right-hand side for Kluivert, but across comes Michael Keane and puts it out for a throw, 0-0.
Yeah, just looking at Bournemouth, Dance, just going into their 4-2-3-1 system. And I like watching Lewis Cook and Ryan Christie play in that centre midfield area, because Lewis Cook is the one who plays a little bit deeper. Ryan Christie plays about 7-8 yards in front of him, just to get himself on the half turn and see if he can get the ball into Evan Nilsson. Well, Evan Nilsson went down at the edge of the area trying to turn the ball around the corner for Semenyo. Thought he was caught, but our referee today decided not so. It is 0-0. We played a couple of minutes on Talksport 2 here on this busy Saturday afternoon of football. I'll keep you bang up to date with goals as they go in elsewhere. Referee today, Stuart Atwell. And we have in the VAR hub, hopefully we won't hear too much from Graham Scott. And it's cleared downfield by Jordan Pickford. Calvert-Lewin can't win the header. Evan Nilsson in the centre circle, tries to tuck it round the corner for Kluivert. Sent downfield by Coleman. Lewis Cook will pick it up for Bournemouth. And he finds Araujo with his bleached blonde hair. Runs into the challenge of Njai. Good strength from Iliman Njai. Referee waves play on because Everton have possession. It's worked by a Rogman about to the right-hand side, but that was overhit. And Bournemouth only get it half clear. Not particularly cleverly cleared by Bournemouth. And it's fired back towards the penalty area by Tarkowski. But Bournemouth play a bit of head tennis, and it's guided down to Araujo, who half volleys it up to Semenyo. Good turn inside his own half, trying to motor his way through the centre circle, and he's brought down by a combination of two players, one of whom is Mikalenko. Free kick, Bournemouth, 0-0. Yeah, good turn from Semenyo in the centre circle, just getting himself on the half turn, just getting it the outside of his right foot. You said there, then Mikalenko coming in from that left-hand side, just bringing him down. Just looking at Everton, a bit of surprise down. Iliman Njai is playing out on the left-hand side, and Dwight McNeil's going to be playing in the 10, where we thought Njai might play in the 10. And in Sean Dyche's notes, he actually thinks that Njai is better coming off that left-hand side.
Free kick to Bournemouth in the centre circle for Lewis Cook to take. Preston leader Oxford in the Championship. Emil Rees-Jacobsen putting Paul Heckingbottom side ahead. Back-to-back wins for them in League and Cup last 7 days. Cook's free kick for Bournemouth. Up to the right-hand corner of the area. Won't drop for Semenyo, but it's worked back to Lewis Cook by the centre circle. Now he hits a diagonal ball out to this near side, the Bournemouth left, where it's brought down by Tavernier. Faced up by Coleman. Tries to whip a cross in. Blocked out of play for a throw by Seamus Coleman, but Bournemouth want to take the throw quickly. Tavernier, 10 yards from the corner flag, will eventually leave it for Milos Kerkez to take, the left back coming forward, and he will throw it backwards of square, but it's a poor touch in midfield, and Everton whack it downfield, and Zabarnyi didn't really know where he was, and Calvert-Lewin has won it back down by the corner flag at the Park end. Tries to nutmeg Zabarnyi, and between the two of them, well, it scruffily goes out of play in the end, away to our right for a Bournemouth goal kick, 0-0.
He's unlucky from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, just making sure he's closing down Zabarnyi. He actually got a little bit spooked there, didn't he, Zabarnyi, Dance? Because he was like well favourite to get the ball, like 4 or 5 yards in front of Calvert-Lewin. He knew that Calvert-Lewin was coming in behind him, and then Calvert-Lewin just nicking it off him, trying to nutmeg Zabarnyi. Unfortunately, comes back off Calvert-Lewin's shins, goes out for a goal kick, which Bournemouth are going to try and play out from the back.
Which Kepa rolls out right to Zabarnyi, playing the right side of the Bournemouth centre-half. Senesi waiting for a square pass along the 18-yard line. Zabarnyi just taking the game down to walking pace at the moment. Now he hits it long down the centre of the field, looking for the run of Evan Nilsson, who's trying to get in behind Mikalenko. Good defending by the Ukrainian, hooks it out of play for a Bournemouth throw, 0-0.
Yeah, just Bournemouth mixes it up a little bit from Zabarnyi. Really good come and spin from Evan Nilsson, playing as the target man for Bournemouth up front, where he just came off of Michael Keane, dragged Michael Keane in towards the ball, spun, got in behind him. Zabarnyi puts it into the right-hand channel. Bournemouth get a throw in deep, and Everton's half over on the right-hand side.
Talksport 2 for game day exclusive at Goodison Park on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. 5 minutes gone, 0-0. Long throw going to come in from Antoine Semenyo from the far right-hand side in front of those Everton supporters in the lower paddock of the Bullens Road. The referee just checking something before he's going to allow this throw to be taken. There's not much of a perimeter to this pitch for you to get a long run up to hoist a throw into the box at pace, but that's what Semenyo's going to try and do. You've got Kluivert lurking at the near post, nearest to Jordan Pickford. In it comes from Semenyo, drops at the edge of the area. Kerkez just tucks it back into midfield, and then it's laid by Christie to the left-hand side for Senesi, trying to play a 1-2 with Tavernier. Good ball rolled down for Kerkez, down the left-hand side of the box. Deep ball to the far post. Semenyo trying to volley it goalwards. It was a difficult skill, and he just hooked it way up in the air, and it bounced over the dead ball line for Everton's goal kick. 0-0, 6 minutes gone on Talksport 2.
Wrong decision from Semenyo on the far post. Good play from Kerkez, the Bournemouth left-back, getting into the byline, just dinging up to far post. And what Semenyo should be doing is taking a touch, just right back to Arahu, who's completely unmarked on the edge of the box, goes for glory with a volley, smash it over the crossbar.
Everton in possession, 0-0 with 7 minutes gone. Coleman up to the halfway line, and Idrissa Gueye turns it neatly around the corner to this near side, the right, and Jack Harrison, who thought about running at Kerkez for a moment, but checked his run, and in checking his run, he allowed Tavernier to close down the space. It's worked back infield, though, to Gueye in the centre circle. Plays a little 1-2 with Iliman Ndiaye, but the touch from Ndiaye was heavy. Forced Gueye to go back into his own half for Michael Keane. Diagonal ball into out to this near side, the right for Everton, with them attacking the Park end in this first half. Away to our right. Irogbenon plays a neat 1-2. Rolls it down the right side of the box for Harrison. Across the face of goal. It's too strong for Calvert-Lewin to get a touch at the far post, but that's the closest we've come in these early stages of Goodison Park. 0-0.
Yeah, Jack Harrison thinks, I've got my mind set on you with Kerkez. Just comes inside, just rolls it into Rabonam, and Rabonam just reverses the ball back to Jack Harrison and then just whips it across the 6-yard box. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was probably on his heels at the far post. Maybe he's got to gamble more down to the centre of the pitch.
Maybe with Harrison, like lots of players, all players must pass.
See what we did there.
That's better than yours. 0-0, Talksport 2.
we have a pun-off. A pun-off, are we?
Tavernier down the left-hand side of the area for Bournemouth. Tries to backheel it through the legs of Coleman. Brilliant skill from Marcus Tavernier. Gets into the box, but Coleman recovers. Only gets it half clear. Bournemouth have it back. Kerkez, left-hand side, midway point of the Everton half. Rolls it back 10 yards or so for Senesi. And further back to the halfway line and Zabarnyi. Andoni Iraiola's team will always try and get on the front foot if they can. Semenyo, right-hand side for the Cherries, comes in field, turned around the corner by Kluivert, trying to give it back to Semenyo. Everton intercept through Mikalenko, and it's Iliman Ndiaye trying to show a burst of pace down the far side of the field, very tight to that near touchline. And what's the referee given? A throw to Bournemouth in the end, because the assistant on that far side gave him no help at all. 9 minutes gone, 0-0.
He said there the assistant just put his flag pointing straight down onto the pitch. To be fair, there's a round of applause
for Kevin Campbell in the 10th minute. And he's been remembered once again very, very fondly. He had the minute's applause before kick-off, and richly deserves his second round of applause in memory of who was a lovely, lovely man. Kevin Campbell, beloved of fans of Arsenal and Everton, even West Brom fans. He wasn't there very long at the Hawthorns, but boy oh boy, how popular he became in a very short space of time there.
He was elegant on the pitch, dance. He was elegant off the pitch. Nobody rocked a neckerchief and a pocket handkerchief like Super Kevin Campbell.
Free kick to Everton just inside their own half. Carlisle won, Tranmere won. Early goal for Tranmere, cancelled out by Archie Davis for Tranmere. And Newport County lead at Morecambe in League Two. Aaron Wildig with the goal for the Exiles at the Globe Arena. That free kick from Everton, Pickford sent it down to the left-hand side, but Bournemouth won it back, and then Semenyo tried to win a throw off Iliman Ndiaye, but he took it out of play. So Everton's throw, left-hand side, inside the Bournemouth half, but they have to work it back to the halfway line to keep possession. 10 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Game day exclusive from Goodison Park. Everton and Bournemouth both looking for their first wins of the season. Now, here's Idrissa Gueye bursting through midfield, flicks it out to the right wing. Jack Harrison tries to play a ball across the face of goal, blocked behind by Kirkes for the first corner of the game at the Park End. 0-0.
Really good refereeing from Stuart Atwell. Dance. He's trying to let the game flow, the referee, because Ndiaye was actually fouled by Arahu over on that right-hand side. Just played on, came to Idrissa Gueye, got it out to Jack Harrison on this right-hand side, and then he's just got the ball out of his feet. He's just tried to whip it again across 6-yard box. Good block for Milios Kirkes. Goes out for a corner for Everton on their right-hand side.
Forest 1, Wolves 0. Chris Wood with the opening goal at the City Ground in one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Adrian Durham and the team taking you around the grounds over on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2, corner to Everton, roll to the right-hand corner of the box for Everton and given back to Dwight McNeil, who tried to centre, and again it's blocked behind for a corner. They tried to work the short corner routine between McNeil and Ndiaye, but it didn't quite come off. But Everton have another corner kick, 0-0.
They're slow to react there, Bournemouth, Dan, because they played a little 2v1 situation with Ndiaye for Everton on the right-hand corner of the 18-yard box, and Dwight McNeil, and Kluivert was really exposed.
McNeil again with a deep corner to the far post. Kepa's lost it, and the ball's hit the side netting as the players went up at the far post. There are a few Everton fans around us that thought that header had hit the back of the net. Not so. Stays out. Goal kick, 0-0.
I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin should be scoring, Dance. It's a really, really good corner from Dwight McNeil with his left foot from this right-hand side in swinging. We mentioned about Kepa looking like Tom Hanks out of Big. That's exactly how he looked there. Come for the ball, got nowhere near it. Not strong enough from Kepa, just got shouldered off the ball by Michael Keane.
The most expensive goalkeeper in Premier League history.
72 million, was it?
72 odd million. Famously refused to be substituted by Maurizio Sarri in a cup final at Wembley. But he has worked with Andoni Iraola before, when Iraola was coaching at Athletic Bilbao in La Liga. 0-0 the score. Ball's with Bournemouth, and it's cleared long downfield by Kirkes, asking Evanilson to give chase. Headed away by Tarkowski. Garner Gay and then Keane will guide it back to Jordan Pickford, who quickly clears left-footed downfield, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Very direct, but very comfortably dealt with at the back by Kirkes for Bournemouth. Great challenge by Irogbenham to win it back for Everton. Much loved by the Everton fans around us. McNeil in the centre of the Bournemouth half. Plays it just to his right for Gay. Now Coleman, right-hand side. Puts a left-footed ball into the box. It's comfortably headed clear by Senesi. Finds Semenyo, but Semenyo almost treads on the ball. Allows Everton to win it back, but Ndiaye tried to be too clever, and that allowed Semenyo to win it back. Now Tavernier will motor towards the halfway line, rolls it down the left-hand side of the box for Kluivert. Kluivert into the area, trying to get the ball onto his right foot, won't shoot, plays it right to Evan Nilsson, tries to get his shot away, blocked on its way to goal by Mykolenko, and Njai will bring it clear after Bournemouth launched a very swift counter-attack at 0-0.
Yeah, it's good play down Bournemouth's left-hand side. Ryan Christie just releasing Kluivert, and Kluivert, he's got Mykolenko 1v1 dance at the edge of the 18-yard box, cuts inside. He should be going in the outside of him, just make it a bit more difficult. In the end, Mykolenko defended well, showed him inside, got the block in. Good counter-attack from Bournemouth.
Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1. Wolves equalised through Jean-Ric Nabegaard not long after Chris would have given Forest the lead at the City Ground in the Premier League. Here at Goodison Park, 14 gone, 0-0, but here's Irogbenham darting down the left-hand side of the area, across the face of goal, and again it evades Calvert-Lewin. Harrison keeps it in play, works it back to Gay at the edge of the box, who whacks it over the bar. Right from 18 yards out, a couple of yards over the bar, but you can hear the encouragement of the Everton fans enjoying what they're seeing in this opening quarter of an hour. 0-0 the score, though.
You said, Dance, the Everton faithful enjoying it. Irogbenham's been outstanding in this first 15 minutes. Him and Idrissa Gueye have dominated that centre midfield area. There, Irogbenham just goes on the outside of Rahu, does exactly the right thing. Again, just flashes the ball across 6-yard box. I think Jack Harrison's coming in from the right-hand side. He's got to make sure he gets in and becomes a second centre forward, caught on his heels a little bit. So that's twice we've had two balls, one from the left, one from the right, flash across 6-yard box, no one in there to tap it into an empty net.
Crawley 0, Barnsley 1 in League One. Donovan Pines for Barnsley. Crawley made a decent start after promotion to League One. You're listening to Everton 0, Bournemouth 0 on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contract on now, like West Ham versus Manchester City live today. Just search Now Sports. Everton with it back again on halfway. Irogbenham inside left channel. He's got Iliman and Joy speeding outside of him, but Irogbenham tries to play a 1-2 with McNeil. Didn't come off, and Bournemouth try and bring it clear, but that's too heavy a touch by Christie. Gay has it back centre of the half for Everton. Just to his left is McNeil at the edge of the D. Twinkle toes from him, trying to work space for a shot, but ran into traffic. Bournemouth win it back, and again they try and launch an early ball downfield to get Evan Nilsson away, but Pickford comes way out of his goal and strikes it down the left-hand side of midfield and finds Iliman and Njai. Njai would just calm the game down and pass back into his own half for the two centre-halves, Keane and Tarkowski. Tarkowski just over the halfway line, gets to the midway point of the half, slides it into McNeil. McNeil out to the right wing for Everton and Harrison. Left-footed ball in, looking for Calvert-Lewin, well defended by Zabani on the 6-yard line. And then Bournemouth should clear through Senesi and Do down the left-hand side, but Tavernier can't keep it in play. Everton win it back again. Tarkowski finds McNeil, right-hand corner of the penalty area. Harrison in support, comes in field, might go for goal here. He's going to get to the edge of the knee. He will shoot, and he drags it a good 2 yards wide. Jack Harrison, hands on top of head. He knows he should have at least got it on target because it opened up for Jack Harrison. 16 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, he's been really lively down this right-hand side. Jack Harrison, obviously left-footed at the moment. He's got the better of Kirkes, just cuts inside Kirkes. Then Senesi comes out, slides in, commits himself, just jumps past him, gets onto the edge of the D. He said there, Dance, he's got to be hitting the target. Player of his quality with that left foot, he's in the middle of the 18-yard box. He's got to make sure Kepa makes a save, and he ends up scuffs it with his left foot, goes about 2 yards wide. But Everton has started really well. You can hear the Everton crowd, they're liking what they're seeing, especially from Irogbenham in that centre midfield area, and Iliman and Njai over on that left-hand side.
Ipswich lead Fulham by a goal to 0. Liam Delap puts Ipswich ahead at Portman Road, looking for their first win after 2 defeats to start their campaign back in the top flight. Elsewhere in the Championship, the only goal we got so far on the 3 o'clocks is Preston's opener at Oxford. In the 0-0s, in the games in League One that kicked off at 3 o'clock, Barnsley won up at Crawley, that's it, rested goalless. And in League Two, Bromley won up on Crewe, Carlisle won, Tranmere won, and Newport won up at Morecambe.
Drop my name stat of the day.
Give it.
Bromley Crewe. This is Crewe's 130th different opponent in the Football League. And the Railway men have beaten the 3 opponents that have played for the first times in the league, which was Salford, Harrogate and Sutton.
Fair play.
Is that inane for you enough? Yeah.
That's well researched. Don't have a problem with that.
I've got my minions that do it for me.
I see. 18 gone, 0-0. Bournemouth in possession, left-hand corner of the area, cross from Kirkes deep to the far post, headed up and out somewhat uncertainly by Mikalenko, but Semenyo couldn't profit from it. But then he tries to take the ball off Iropenham. Idrissa Gana Gueye steps in for Everton and tidies up to help out his companion. Joe Root's got a second century for England at Lord's in that second test against Sri Lanka. They were well clear on the first innings lead, and Joe Root at it again at HQ.
Does he go above Sir Alistair Cook now? Is it 133 and he goes on to 134?
I don't have that stat to hand, but if that again is another non-inane stat of the day, I'm having it, Perry. Well played. Offside flag goes up against Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Quickly taken free kick by Bournemouth. We're approaching the 20-minute mark. 0-0. Semenyo hugging the right-hand touchline with the ball at his feet, just trotting forward. Mikalenko backpedaling. Semenyo whips in a left-footed ball to the edge of the area. Volley clear by Gueye, picked up by Ndiaye. And the former Sheffield United man looking for an option, plays the square ball to Coleman, midway point of his own half. Neat 1-2 with Jack Harrison, then has to work it back to Gueye. And Everton decide to keep ball and work it from right to left and pick out Vitaly Mikalenko. Good pace from the Ukrainian. Clips it in field for Dwight McNeil, approaching the edge of the area. Calvert-Lewin with his bat to goal, trying to turn and shoot, but again, he's running into traffic. And there were 2 or 3 Bournemouth players around him who took the ball off him quite comfortably in the end. Kluivert down this left-hand side, and Evan Nilsson works the ball back to Kirkes. Senesi, that's a poor clearance from Senesi, somewhat hurried into it, but it stays in play on this near side. Tavernier heads it infield to Ryan Christie. Evan Nilsson can't hold on to it, pressurised by Tarkowski. Where's that going to drop? In the centre circle for Iropenham, who keeps the ball away from Kluivert. Strong run from Iropenham, trying to release Ndiaye inside the area. What a challenge. Araujo, the right back for Bournemouth, sliding in to turn it behind for an Everton corner. Had to be perfectly timed, that challenge. 0-0.
Brilliant play from Iropenham again in that midfield area, just trying to put the ball inside Araujo, the Bournemouth right back. Ndiaye making a really good run. And to be fair, as you said there, Dan, Araujo had to get his timing spot on. If not, it's a penalty. Just slides in, just nicks it off of Ndiaye's toe. Corner for Everton over on the left-hand side.
Where the Bullins Road paddock that the Bournemouth fans are in meets the park end, over on the far side of the field. A left-footed outswinger to come from Dwight McNeil. Fizzes it deep to the far post. Keane's going to go. Heads it across the face of goal. Headed out by Evan Nilsson. Might be picked up by McNeil on the left-hand side. He shovels it back to Mikalenko. Ball back into the box. Keane with another header, but it's well wide. A good 5 or 6 yards wide of Kepa's right-hand post. And Bournemouth have another goal kick away to our right. 0-0 on Talksport 2.
I think Sean Dyche stands to be absolutely delighted with what he's seen from his Everton side, because Dwight McNeil is playing in the 10 position. He's getting himself on the ball, getting a lot of it in that central area. Iropenham, as said before, has been outstanding this first, coming up to the 22nd minute. So him and Idrissa Gueye are completely dominating that midfield area. They've got 2 brilliant balls in, one from the right and one from the left, one from McNeil and one from Jack Harrison. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin's got to make sure that he stays a bit more central. But apart from that, Everton have been very, very good.
The thoughts of Perry Groves alongside me, Ian Danter on commentary here at Goodison Park, where it remains goalless with 21 minutes gone. Oxford equalised at home to Preston. Mark Harris, another goal for him, making it 1-1 at the Kazam. Birmingham 1, Wigan 0. Alfie May continues his run of scoring in the league for Birmingham. And Inverness Cali Thistle 1-1 with Queen of the South in Scotland.
So the Blues are on a nice little run on the quiet there. You've gone under the radar, and it's 7 unbeaten in the league.
From last season into this, yes, that's correct. Didn't stop Birmingham City going down. But Alfie May, one of a number of purchases. Jay Stansfield, of course, arriving at Birmingham late on yesterday for a cool 10 to 15 million pounds, depending on which report you believe.
Let's hope he's the real thing then, eh?
Nice one. Could be the right time for Stansfield.
I'm not going to go for Route 1. There's one more coming, Route 1, but I'm leaving it.
Yeah, let's not bother. He's not playing today anyway, so. Kepa is just having a look at Marcos Senesi, who's just bent over inside his own penalty area. I think he got caught slightly there, the Bournemouth centre-half. Doesn't want any treatment because he doesn't want to go off, but I think it's just holding his foot. He might have been trodden on by accident by a Everton player. Leeds have got the lead against Hull City in the Championship. Leeds 1, Hull 0. Earlier today in the Championship, Burnley and Blackburn drew 1 apiece. That was live here on Talksport 2. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 2, Coventry 0, Norwich 1 in the lunchtime games in the Championship. And Arsenal got a 1-1 draw with Brighton live on Talksport. Declan Rice sent off. He misses the North London derby as a consequence of that second yellow he got for
outrageous
stopping a free
off.
kick. Yes.
Declan, don't kick the ball away and you won't get sent off.
It's fairly rudimentary.
Is that balanced for me, do you think?
Well, Arsenal fan, don't forget you can get your thoughts into Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy on the game day phone in on Talksport. That's from 5:30 this evening. And of course, Everton and Bournemouth fans listening to this game right now on Talksport 2, you can get your thoughts in to Jamie and Jason on how you felt this game has gone. We've played a quarter of it. In fact, 24 minutes have now gone at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Bournemouth 0. A couple of half chances gone Everton's way, balls across the face of goal that were too far away from Dominic Calvert-Lewin to convert, and the ball's back with Jordan Pickford at the other end. He's at the Gladys Street end away to our left. Few Everton supporters shielding their eyes from the strong sunshine this afternoon on Merseyside. Calvert-Lewin's headed down, just finds a Bournemouth player, and it's worked back by Kirkes to Kepa Arrizabalaga. And he rolls it right for Ilya Zabarnyi, one of the other centre-halves. Gets to the midway point of the half, rolls the challenge of Calvert-Lewin. Semenyo comes back deep into his own half, shows willing there, strokes it back to Senesi, and Senesi will dart up to the halfway line with the ball at his feet. Options left and right. Kirkes inside, goes Ryan Christie. Kirkes now gets it on this near side, the left. And then it's floated into the area. Evan Nilsson is offside. Flag goes up immediately from the assistant on that far side. Free kick to Everton inside their own penalty area. 0-0. Perry Groves.
Good defensive play actually for Everton, because Mikalenko's the Everton left back. You could actually hear him shouting to Tarkowski and to Michael Keane not to drop off, to make sure that they kept that line. So he made sure that he was in front of the two centre-halves. He could see Evan Nilsson had made the run too early and goes offside.
That test score, Joe Root, 34th test century. It is the new record, overtaking Alistair Cook. England have a lead of 483 against Sri Lanka. Play resumes in about 10 minutes' time. Updates on Talksport as they go around the grounds with Adrian Durham this afternoon. You're with Talksport 2, exclusive commentary of Everton Bournemouth in the Premier League. 25 minutes gone. It is Everton 0, Bournemouth 0. And it's currently 0-0, so as Calvert-Lewin goes down, let's check the odds with our friends at William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now, Everton 17-10 for the win, Bournemouth 15-8. The draw also priced at 15-8. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Bournemouth player just sending the ball out to the wing for the invisible man, so the ball just rolled straight out of play. Everton have a throw, and that early impetus that Everton had, you can hear the atmosphere around Goodison Park. Perry Groves it's fine, it's not buoyant though, is it?
It's just lulled a little bit, because say that first 20 minutes Everton were in the ascendancy. Bournemouth have ridden out that sort of mini storm. Bournemouth hadn't really been a threat going forward themselves, but you have to say, just looking at Everton at the moment, you wouldn't think this was a team that had lost their first two, conceding 7 without scoring. So they've taken that positivity from the game against Doncaster Rovers midweek into this first 27 minutes, but now Bournemouth are just starting to get themselves into the game, with Ryan Christie getting himself on the ball a little bit more.
Senesi on halfway, 0-0 here. Barnsley 2 up at Crawley in League One, and Mansfield are 1-0 up on so far unbeaten Stockport in League One. Hiram Boateng for the Stags. Shrewsbury 1, Leyton Orient 0 is another scoreline we've got for you latest from League One. Swindon 1, Notts County 0. That's just gone in at the county ground. Gavin Kilkenny just been allowed to leave Bournemouth on loan and scores on debut. Here's Kirkes for Bournemouth. Into the box, it's teed up by Evan Nilsson, and then Tavernier. Oh, and Pickford made a bit of a hash of the attempted collection of the ball. It bounced off his gloves into his knee and went behind for Bournemouth's first corner of the game at the Gladys Street end, 0-0.
Jordan Pickford made that look as difficult as trying to juggle bananas. He should actually just be like having soft wrists, so it just goes into his hands. Had a bit of a panic up.
That Leeds goal apparently cancelled out. It is still 0-0, Leeds against Hull. Don't know what it was cancelled out for, but it's gone. Corner then to Bournemouth at the Gladys Street end to our left, where it meets the main stand. Tavernier is going to take it. Left-footed outswinger from him. Plays it into the near post. It wasn't a great corner. Zabani couldn't get a piece of it. Kerkez volleys it back into the area, headed up in the air by Calvert-Lewin. And Pickford came to punch and kept it away, but it's gone out to the left corner flag, and Tavernier again floats the ball to the far post. Pickford goes up, gets nowhere near it with a punch, but it drops kindly for Everton, and it's brought away by Iliman Ndiaye up towards the halfway line. Held up for a moment by Semenyo. And then the attempted running in field by Mykolenko didn't work, but McNeil picks it up, slides it down the inside left channel, asking Ndiaye to give chase, but Lewis Cook stuck to his task well, gave away a throw, but stopped Ndiaye getting the crossing. But Everton take the throw quickly. Ndiaye receives it down the left-hand side of the box. Offside flag goes up against Ndiaye before he can whip the ball in. It stays 0-0 as we approach the half hour on Talksport 2.
That's so annoying when the wide player's looking right across the line, Dance, and gets himself caught offside, because it was decent play on the left-hand side. Mykolenko taking a quick throw-in. Say Iliman Ndiaye's got his head down. He's got to be looking right across the line. Simple decision for the assistant down to our right-hand side here. Just flagged for offside.
Leicester 0, Aston Villa 1. Amadou Onana, once off Everton, puts Villa ahead at the King Power. Derby lead Bristol City by a 1-0 in the Championship. Kenzo Goodmine. Wrexham lead at Peterborough in League One. Jack Marriott scoring for Wrexham. And AFC Wimbledon, I was there on Wednesday seeing them beat Ipswich and draw Newcastle in the next round in the Carabao Cup. AFC Wimbledon lead Fleetwood by a 0-0. Josh Nerfill with the goal for the Dons at Plough Lane. Free kick meantime to Everton with half an hour gone here on Talksport 2 at Plough Lane. 0-0 is still the score if you're just tuning in to Game Day Exclusive. It's been a half hour of very few chances. Certainly nothing serious for Jordan Pickford to deal with, but a couple of balls flashed across the face of the Bournemouth goal that didn't come to anything from the Everton point of view. Evan Nielsen running back to try and win possession, but Irogbenham tidily picks the ball up and floats it out to the right wing this near side, and Jack Harrison has got McNeil in support, but McNeil caught on his heels as Harrison thought he was making a stronger run down the right hand side of the box, and Bournemouth bring it clear. Very neatly done by Senesi. Tries to roll it down this near touch line, and it goes out of play in the end. Good control by Andoni Iraola. Throw to Everton, 0-0.
There's about 7,000 Everton fans in the stand we're sitting in, Dance. When the ball came out to Jack Harrison, they could see that the pass he should be giving his first time into Dwight McNeil was in acres of space inside him. Took too many touches, then tried to reverse it in Jack Harrison, then Senesi could come and close him down.
Dundee 0, St Mirren 1 in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. So you'll see Olusanya for the Buddies. Throw to Everton, level with the edge of the penalty area for Bournemouth as they're attacking the Park end. It's Calvert-Lewin down by the corner flag. Has he won a corner off Kerkez? He has. Fourth corner of the half for the Toffees. Can they make this one count? 0-0.
Yeah, good hold-up play from Dominic Calvert-Lewin in this right-hand corner. Dwight McNeil go and retrieve the ball.
Off one of the cones.
The multi-ball system.
Bristol Rovers 1, Cambridge United 0. Promise Omachiri for the Gas.
So if you're Dwight McNeil, Dance, obviously this is his fourth corner. One of the corners he actually whipped in, didn't he, underneath Kepa Arrizabalaga's crossbar, where he missed it completely, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin maybe should have scored the far post. Do the same thing.
He's gone far post again, and it's Calvert-Lewin to head it across the face of goal. They're trying to hook it in play. Ndiaye straight at Kepa. It almost went through his legs, but he grasped hold of it gratefully in the end. The new keeper at Bournemouth, Iliman Ndiaye, thought he'd scored his first Premier League goal for Everton. Not so, 0-0.
Yeah, really good corner again from Dwight McNeil. As you said, just pinging it to the far post. Good header back across from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. As the ball dropped out to Iliman Ndiaye, he's 8 yards out. He's got a right foot volley away, and Kepa's got a little bit lucky, Dance, actually, because it looked like he was going to go through his legs. He's hit his right calf and just bobbled onto his left calf. He ends up picking it up. That's the biggest chance we've had in this first half. Ndiaye should be scoring.
But it stays 0-0 on Talksport 2 here at Goodison Park. You're listening to Everton Bournemouth on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. Calvert-Lewin in the centre circle, tries to feed it right to Harrison, but it was overhit. But that's a poor touch from Kerkez. Everton have it back again on halfway with Seamus Coleman right in front of the dugouts. underneath us. Both Sean Dyche and Donny Iraola at the edge of their technical areas down beneath us. Bournemouth win the ball back, but then Evan Nilsson with a heavy touch allowed McNeil to get a foot in, but that just dribbles out of play right into the path of Sean Dyche for a Bournemouth throw. Bournemouth 9 without a Premier League win in August. It's beating Villa on the first weekend of the 22-23 season when Scott Parker was Bournemouth manager. And Everton have lost all 5 Premier League games in August under Sean Dyche without even scoring a goal. So something's got to give here, you would sense, this afternoon for one of these two sides, but it remains goalless. Evan Nilsson goes down under the challenge of Gay. Free kick, says Stuart Atwell, midway point of the Everton half, but out to the left of centre in the slightly shadier area of the pitch. 3/4 of the pitch still bathed in this glorious sunshine. And it's going to be a free kick to the Cherries at 0-0. Portsmouth 0, Sunderland 1. Zach Swanson for Sunderland. Great start to the season for the Black Hats. Ipswich 1, Fulham 1. Adama Traore, he has brought Fulham level at Portman Road. And Swindon 1, Notts County 1 in League 2. David McGoldrick, the old stager, getting the equaliser for Notts County at the county ground. So free kick for Bournemouth here, Perry. 2 players standing over it, Cook and Tavernier. Everton holding their line good 20 yards out, probably at the edge of the D where they're holding their line. The free kick is pretty much the midway point of the half, about 8 yards in from the touchline as we look at this near side. Tavernier to strike it into the area, to the far post. Semenyo brings it down really well, can't get the shot close to goal. It's blocked at source by Gay, and then it's out to the far right-hand side. Bournemouth trying to keep it alive with Christie. Great skill. Works it infield to Semenyo. Semenyo with the ball to the edge of the box. And then the shot attempted by Kluivert. And Evan Nilsson got in his way. And it went behind for a goal kick in the end to Everton. 0-0, 10 minutes to half-time.
Kluivert, don't you dare look down at the pitch and pretend that there's been a bobble or a divot, because unless there's a mole popped up, you don't get bobbles or divots here. It was really good play from Semenyo over on the right-hand side, just rolled it in. The ball set up nicely for Kluivert. Dance, and he's completely miskicked it, scuffed it. That's probably been Bournemouth's best chance of the half. It was a brilliant touch from Semenyo. It's like velvet slippers where he just took the ball out of the air.
Well, here is Tavernier for Bournemouth as they have it again. Centre of the Everton half, drifts out to the left, plays it to the left wing for Kirkes. He tucks it back for Senesi. Diagonal ball into the area. Semenyo's the target, heads it down. Kluivert trots out outside the area, right-hand side, keeps it for Bournemouth. Araujo in support further down the touchline. They play a 1-2 between each other. Araujo then finds Semenyo, gives it back to the right back. Araujo and Kluivert once again combining. Neat passing football, but Bournemouth are working it back to the halfway line. Cook running along the halfway line from right to left. He's forced to go further back, and the Everton fans love it that Bournemouth have had to go all the way back to Aretha Balaga to keep possession.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin and Dwight-Mnell did really well there, because when it come into Lewis Cook, they just completely blocked off.
Then Kluivert was fouled by Iroquois, takes the free kick quickly. Was it? No, the ball was rolling, says Stuart Atwell. Bolton 0, Exeter 1 in League One. Kamari Doyle for the Grecians at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium.
Make sure you got your teeth in properly.
Oh, I made sure. Dundee 1, St Mirren 1 in Scotland. Curtis Main equalises for Dundee. Bournemouth's free kick taken quickly, hit far too long and straight downfield and bounced twice and over the dead ball line for an Everton goal kick. Everton are the 4th Premier League side to lose their first 2 in the league without scoring and conceding 7 or more goals. Leicester, Wigan and Norwich are the other guilty parties in that little club. But they've won 6 out of their last 7 at home against the Cherries. And they've had the better of it in this opening 37 minutes, Perry Groves.
Yeah, probably, the first 25, 30 minutes, Everton were the better side on top. Sort of had more possession. Bournemouth just sort of come back into it. And from the Everton fans' point of view, there's been a bit of a lull in the game. And you mentioned about the records both teams have had in August. Sean Dyche, he loves playing against Bournemouth. He's played against them as a manager 11 times. He won 8 of them.
Iraola, meantime, has won just 2 of the 14 games he's managed at clubs in August, not just Bournemouth. Adding Mirandes and Rayo Vallecano to that. Everton win the ball back on halfway. 8 minutes to half-time, 0-0. If you're just tuning into Game Day exclusive on Talksport, we're here at Goodison Park, watching Everton and Bournemouth scrap it out trying to get their first respective wins of the Premier League campaign. Jack Harrison looks infield for a Garner gain, a bit of space, had time to measure the cross into the area, deflected up in the air and away from Calvert-Lewin, tries to bring it down to Robenham at the edge of the box, tries a very clever little flick, but it just doesn't come off for a Robenham, and it's cleared away by Bournemouth up to Evan-Nilsson on halfway. Shields possession, keeps it away from a Robenham and works it out to Semenyo on the right-hand side. 0-0 it stays here at Goodison Park. Carlisle 1, Tranmere Rovers 2, and Amari Patrick gets his second of the afternoon for Tranmere, and Carl Wootton has equalised for the previously 100% Stockport at Mansfield Town. That's now 1-1 late in the first half. Bournemouth in possession with Marcos Senesi. Just shy of the halfway line, hits a ball floated down the left-hand side for Milos Kerkez, who got ahead of Harrison, and Harrison heads the ball behind in the end under pressure from Kerkez for a corner kick at the Gladys Street end to Bournemouth, 0-0.
Yeah, Jack Harrison just went asleep. As you said there, Bournemouth's main threat has come down this left-hand side with Kerkez and Tavernier. Kerkez again going just on the overlap. In the end, Jack Harrison did well because the ball dropped out of the air. He made sure as it bounced, he got his body in between Kerkez and the ball, put the ball out for a corner for Bournemouth on the left-hand side.
It's going to be a different corner routine this time. Lewis Cook looks to be the man to strike this one. Right-footed in-swinger for Bournemouth. Very, very deep to the far post. It's nodded down, and Christie with his back to goal guides it back to Tavernier at the edge of the area. And the way you can hear from around us here at Goodison Park will tell you just how far, high, wide and not particularly handsome that was. 0-0.
Yeah, his minor winders there from Tavernier as the ball just ballooned over the crossbar. Decent little corner routine though from Bournemouth, to be fair. Lewis Cook just making sure he's drilling the ball to the far post. Good header back from
Senesi, I think, that got the header back, and then Christie held the ball up quite neatly with his back to goal, but it was wild from Marcus Tavernier. Goal kick taken by Pickford, flicked on by Calvert-Lewin. Gets it again down this near touchline, hugging the right-hand touchline, 15 yards or so inside Bournemouth territory. Being pressurised, ball goes out of play, but it came off a Bournemouth boot. Throw to Everton.
So it's just, from Everton's point of view, it's just gone a little bit flat, hasn't it? So I'm looking at Sean Dyche. Why does he just change and jive from the left-hand side, put him in the 10 position, put Dwight Manil out onto the left, you know, just to give Bournemouth a bit more to think about.
Peterborough 0, Wrexham 2 in League One. Max Cleworth gets the second for the Dragons. Dundee 1, St Mirren 2 in Scotland. Mikael Mandron restores St Mirren's advantage at Dens Park. Here's James Tarkowski for Everton at 0-0. Finds Coleman inside his own half, plays it up to halfway. Harrison can turn and run into the Bournemouth half of the field. To his left is Tim Iroquois. Options left and right, goes out left to Mikalenko. He gives it back in field to Harrison, approaching the edge of the area, left-hand corner, slides in Mikalenko. Can he pull it back from the byline? He can, but he can only find Zabarnyi. And Bournemouth clear their lines, but Iroquois, brilliant skill to win it back left-hand side. Goes for the byline of Robenham, still holding on to it, but then it just runs out of room and Bournemouth get a goal kick. But again, just that final pass, not quite what Everton want, but they're getting close, 0-0.
Yeah, good link-up play on that left-hand side again with Mikalenko and Robenham. Everton again get themselves to the byline through Mikalenko. Maybe he should be looking just to dink it down so close, get to the byline, should be looking to dink it up to the far post, just hit it at near post. Zabarnyi really good defending, but that sort of summed Everton up, isn't it? Just coming up to half time where they've had really good link up play through the midfield areas, through the different lines, into McNeil, out to Harrison and Njai, got into the wide areas. They've had two brilliant balls across 6-yard box. Apart from that, they haven't picked the right pass or just shown that little bit of quality.
3 minutes to half time plus whatever Stuart Atwell wants to add on at the end of the first period. 0-0 it stays. Bournemouth in possession with Zabarnyi heading up to the halfway line, slides it out to the right wing for Semenyo. Semenyo faced up by Njai, thinks about cutting in field, but instead just rolls it back to Zabarnyi just inside his own half. Then he plays a ball over the top, trying to get the ball in behind Keane for Evan-Nilsson, headed clear by Keane, only as far as Kluivert, but his intended ball forward for Evan-Nilsson was under hit. Everton get it up to halfway, but the red and black shirts of Bournemouth have possession again. Kerkez Sean Dyche looking a little perturbed as to how easy that was for Bournemouth to win the ball back. But here's Idrissa Gana Gueye, back for a second spell at Everton. Guides it down for Tarkowski. Gives it back to gain a bit of space. Still in his own half. He'll motor towards the halfway line. Irogbenham works it quickly out to the left wing for Ndiaye. Ndiaye being tracked in field by Araujo. Works it to Harrison in the inside right position, just over halfway. Into the feet of Dwight McNeil. McNeil's going to go for goal from distance, but that's straight down the throat of Kepa Arrizabalaga, who makes a comfortable save. I think that's Everton's second shot on target after Iliman Ndiaye's effort that Kepa nearly spilt into his own net. 0-0.
Yeah, when it came in from Jack Harrison, again, he's looked busy on this right-hand side, just rolled it into Dwight McNeil in the 10 position, 30 yards out. It was a decent strike dance, but to be fair, it was straight down the throat of Kepa.
Kirkez thought that taking the ball out of play, some Everton fans down below us, but the assistant wave play on. Meanwhile, Brentford 1, Southampton 0 in the Premier League. Brian Mbeumo putting Brentford ahead at the G-Tech, approaching half-time. We're into the last minute of normal time here in the first half at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Bournemouth 0 on Talksport 2. And again, just a lull, just a bit of a hush falls over Goodison Park as Araujo has possession for the visitors just over the halfway line. Rolls it back to Zabani.
Everton being the home side, out of possession, they drop back into a 4-4-2. Obviously, Dwight McNeil come in level with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I'd like to see them actually go and press a bit quicker. I think that's why it gets a little bit flat, because when Bournemouth in possession, Everton drop off just that little bit too far, and you can feel like the frustration of the crowd thinking, go and engage the ball, go and close it down a little bit quicker, put them under pressure, because in this last 10-15 minutes, say Bournemouth have just eased his way back into the game.
So we're about to find out how much added time there will be. Fourth official Dan Benitez has the ball. It's just going to be 1 minute to add on. We're into that now on Talksport 2 as Bournemouth volley the ball clear through Zabani up to halfway. Good strong header from Idrissa Gana Gueye, but the ball goes through his legs. But there was a foul on McNeil. Quickly taken free kick by Tarkowski, trying to get Calvert-Lewin in behind. Brings it down inside the D. Went down, claiming a foul. Stuart Atwell very quickly said play on. Back with Gueye for Everton. To Harrison on this near side, cuts in field from the right wing but runs into traffic, and Bournemouth have it back and might have one last counter-attack in this first half. It's played forward to Evan Nilsson inside the area, good header down by Keane and then volleyed away by Mikolenko to keep it away from Semenyo, but it drops again for Bournemouth. Heavy touch though by Tavernier, that allows Iliman Ndiaye to bring it away. Good fleet of foot from Iliman Ndiaye, tries to set McNeil away, but Araujo's no slouch, and he'll give a very strong pass back to Kepa, but Kepa dealt with it well, and Araujo will now clear downfield, and that may well be that for the first half.
There's Araujo just keeping Kepa, the keeper, on his toes. So he's just rifled the ball back to him.
There is the half-time whistle. Warm applause on a warm afternoon around Goodison Park for the efforts of Everton's players in the first half, but they've got nothing to show for it. It is goalless at the break. They've come closest though, Everton, particularly when Iliman Ndiaye, looking for his first Premier League goal in Everton blue, took a shot after a corner routine, caused a bit of panic in the Bournemouth penalty area, and it nearly panicked Kepa Arrizabalaga on Bournemouth debut to spill the ball into his own net, but he managed to get something on it to keep it in front of the goal line. There's also been efforts from McNeil from distance that have gone wide, and Ndiaye again testing Kepa from distance. Bournemouth have had a couple of moments, but Pickford's yet to have a meaningful save to make. But there's just a slight air of tension that might increase if the scoreline stays like this as the second half progresses. At half-time on Talksport 2, it's Everton 0, Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, Everton's half has to be said. Ian Danta, Perry Groves with the first half commentary. I'm Chris Latcham with you on Game Day exclusive here on Talksport 2. Well, I think we have to say it's Everton's half on balance. All of the chances were down that end. They only really had the two clear-cut chances, and Kepa did well with them. What will Sean Dyche be saying to his team at the break?
I think he'll be really pleased with the way they started the first 20-25 minutes. You know, we thought it was going to be Bournemouth on the front foot. It wasn't, it was Everton. The pace and the tempo game was really good. I thought Irobonum in the centre midfield got to grips with the game. He started to dominate. Dwight McNeil was doing really well in the 10 position. I think he'll just be a little bit frustrated just about that little bit of quality in the final third when they get in the wide areas. They've had a couple of crosses which are decent, one from Mikolenko on the left-hand side, one from Jack Harris on the right, where it's whipped across the 6-yard box, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's watching the ball go across where maybe he should be gambling. But for the first half an hour, Everton were definitely the better side, and Jordan Pickford, apart from, I think he's had a couple of punches that to come from corners, he's had nothing to do in the home goal, whereas Kepa has made 2 saves. One was simple from Dwight McNeil straight down his throat, and the second one was where Njai should have scored from a volley for about 8 yards, and he should be going either side of him, hit it straight at him, and sort of just ricochet between his legs.
Somehow he kept hold of it between his legs.
Exactly, yeah. Come on, from his right thigh, his right calf onto his left calf, and he was panicking a bit, thinking, "Where's the ball gone?" And he just settled in between his legs. But Everton, first half hour, were very good.
Yeah, credit where it's due to Kepa Arrizabalaga, who only signed late on before the deadline window. He won't have had a chance to train with his new team. There's different languages in the back line, and ultimately he's looked comfortable, even when Araujo, I think it was late in the half, fizzed one back to him, and he dealt with it really well.
Yeah, his feet were very good on that occasion. A couple of crosses from corners that he's looked a little bit flaky on. There was one after about 10 minutes, which was a really good corner from Dwight McNeil on this right-hand side.
Calvert-Lewin chance.
Exactly, yeah, and he's come like for the punch, he's missed it completely. Calvert-Lewin at the far post, he's headed into the side netting where he should be obviously getting at least on target. So that's one area where if you're Sean Dyche, should be saying, look, we've got to test the goalkeeper a little bit more, put him under a little bit of pressure, because the build-up play's been great into the final third. They've just either picked the wrong pass or hit the first man from the crosses. And I'd like to him, from Everton's point of view, being the home side, when they're out of possession, just playing maybe 10 yards further up the pitch to go and close down a little bit more. You
made the point, Iliman Ndiaye was playing out on the left. You said 5 minutes to half-time, maybe Sean Dyche should switch it up, put McNeil out there and bring him on inside. I've been really impressed with Ndiaye when he gets on the ball. Yeah, he's brilliant in tight spaces. You know, that's why I think he'll be good in that little central area. To be fair to Dwight McNeil, he's looked quite comfortable in the 10 position. So they just went a little bit flat. From Bournemouth's point of view, I think Iraola will be a bit disappointed that they haven't imposed themselves on Everton. Normally in the midfield area, Lewis Cook and Christie control the game, but you'd have to say they've been dominated by Robinham and Idrissa Gueye in that midfield area. So half-time, 1-1 Everton and Bournemouth. Second half commentary to come with Ian Danter and Perry Groves. But right now, let's look ahead to tonight's Premier League action with Sky Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. Like West Ham versus Man City live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
And let's look ahead to tonight's game in the company of Talksport's Ian Abrahams. Good afternoon, Ian.
Good afternoon.
City have made this perfect start. They look really frightening, specifically Haaland last week against Ipswich. Any chance, any suggestion they could slip up today?
Well, you'd have to say not. I mean, everything I hear is that Pep Guardiola is very happy and very pleased and enjoying life at City. Everything I hear is that City don't feel maybe they're under the same pressure or scrutiny they were at the beginning of last season when they were defending the treble and only defending the Premier League title. And knowing City and Pep as much as I do, I would suspect they would like to go on and create even more history or becoming the first team to win it 5 times in a row.
Yeah, I think so. He was asked in his press conference whether he'd be queuing up to get tickets for Oasis, and he sort of went, no, I think I'll go if I can go. I won't be queuing up. So he's not had the frustrating start to the day that most of us have had. City have a real chance to strike an early blow in the title race. They'll be well aware. They'll have been listening to Talksport and heard Arsenal's draw earlier.
Yeah, I'm sure regarding Oasis, Pep would just roll with it and wait for Noel Gallagher to give him free tickets. And I suspect there'll be VIP rather than front row in the pit.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Arsenal slipping up at home would have obviously given City an extra incentive. I mean, if you take on board that the two sides probably won't drop that many points over the season apart from perhaps against each other, it gives City a little bit of leeway before that first meeting after the first round of Champions League fixtures, which came out today and gave City a home game on the Wednesday and Arsenal a trip to Italy on the Thursday. So already that would look to be advantage City in that. And yeah, I mean, listen, playing second, it does give you that advantage today to see what the opposition have done, and the opposition obviously have dropped points, so therefore there's a great opportunity for Manchester City to move clear at the top of the Premier League even at this early stage.
As for West Ham as well, they're quite a busy transfer window. I wonder how many of Fulkrug, Somerville, Todibo, Wan-Bissaka might make their Premier League debuts today.
full debuts. I'd like to see them all, pretty much all of them, to be honest with you. Wan-Bissaka I've always liked, and I think he's going to be a terrific asset, and whatever Vladimir Coufal has done through the years, I think Wan-Bissaka is a better player. I certainly think that I would drop Mavropanos alongside Kilman. Kilman is sensational, so I'd like to see Todibo alongside him, and I really would like to see what Falkland could do up front. I know that Mikel Antonio is one goal involvement away from 100 for West Ham, but I would like to see what either Somerville and or Falkland could offer up front, and then certainly against the City team where they're probably not going to have the ball a whole lot. It'll be interesting to see the team that Lopetegui picks today.
It certainly will be. Enjoy the game tonight, Moose.
Cheers, thank you.
That was a look ahead to this evening's Premier League action with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now, like West Ham against Manchester City live today. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now, like West Ham versus Man City live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
You're listening to Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2. Everton 0, Bournemouth 0. Everton had the best of that first half, but are still yet to score in this Premier League season. We'll bring you the half-time scores from across the Premier League and the EFL next. Do stay with us.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL. Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
It's our 50th birthday, and the one and only Double Big Mac is back at McDonald's. Hang on, I know the moves to this one. Make space! McDonald's 50th birthday! You're all invited! Until 3rd of September, from 11 a.m, participating restaurants only, subject to availability.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less waiting and more working, less downtime and more doing. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Now that football is back, you're going to want to follow every kick, goal, card, and transfer as soon as it happens. So from Ipswich back in the big time, to Villa in the Champions League, and City going for 5 in a row, you know where to go. Follow it all at thesun.co.uk.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. Like West Ham versus Man City live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Live Super League. Catalan's Dragons versus Wigan Warriors.
He's racing forward. Goes 90 metres.
this evening from 8 on Talksport 2.
Fired up and raring to go.
He's done it again!
Game day.
The games, the goals, the glory.
How about that?
Game day exclusive
On Talksport 2.
This is Game Day.
Half-time classifieds.
You're listening to Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2 with me, Chris Latcham. Time for the classifieds at half-time, starting with
Premier League.
Arsenal 1, Brighton 1 was the early kick-off. Kai Havertz and Joao Pedro getting the goals. Declan Rice was sent off. Brian Mbeumo's got the only goal. Brentford leading Southampton 1-0. Here at Goodison, Everton 0, Bournemouth 0. Ipswich and Fulham are drawing 1-1. Liam Delap and Adama Traore. Leicester 0, Aston Villa 1. Amadou Onana's got another. Nottingham Forest 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. With Chris Wood and Jean-Ric Nabelagar getting the goals, and West Ham and Manchester City comes later tonight.
Sky Bet Championship.
In the Championship, Burnley 1, Blackburn 1 was an early kick-off live on Talksport 2. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 2. Coventry 0, Norwich 1. They were the early kickoffs. As for the games ongoing right now, Derby County 1, Bristol City 0, Leeds 0, Hull City 0, Millwall and Sheffield Wednesday are also tied at 0-0. Oxford United 1, Preston 1, with Mark Harris scoring again for Oxford. Plymouth and Stoke are drawing 0-0. Pompey 0, Sunderland 1, and West Brom 1, Swansea City 0.
Sky Bet League 1.
Blackpool 2, Wycombe 2 is a full-time from earlier. Rotherham 2, Huddersfield 1, also finished earlier. In the live games right now, Birmingham 1-0 up against Wigan Athletic. Bolton trailing at home to Exeter by 1-0. Bristol Rovers 1, Cambridge United 0, Crawley 0, Barnsley 3, Mansfield 1, Stockport 1, Northampton and Burton are tied at 0-0. Peterborough 0, Wrexham 2, Reading 0, Charlton 0, Shrewsbury 1, Leyton Orient 0, and Stevenage and Lincoln is goalless.
Sky Bet League 2.
Couple of earlier results: Gillingham 1, Chesterfield 0, and Port Vale 2, Doncaster Rovers 3. In the live games, Accrington 1, Colchester 0, AFC Wimbledon 1, Fleetwood 0, Bromley 1, Crewe 0, Carlisle 1, Tranmere 2, Grimsby 1, Bradford 0. Harrogate and Barrow is tied at 0-0. Morecambe 0, Newport County 1, Swindon 1, Notts County 1. And to wrap things up, Walsall 0, Cheltenham Town 0. So there you go, up to speed with all of the early kickoffs and all of the half-time scores around the country right here at Goodison Park. Everton have had the whip hand in this one, but they are still tied at 0-0 against Bournemouth. Ian Danta, tell me, how long into this game will it go before the fans start getting nervous and the players feel that frustration? Everton still yet to score in this tough start to the season.
Well, I think they've been fairly patient so far. I think I'm not sure that it would get that toxic if the scoreline stayed as it was, but if Bournemouth were to get the goal, then yeah, I think obviously that things would turn.
What's your hunch on this one, Perry? I mean, Bournemouth barely had the ball down the Everton half. The two shots on target weren't the best. Kepa dealing quite comfortably with both of them. Everton should be in front.
Yeah, I think we're just looking for something to ignite this game, to set it really on fire. So, because Everton were a better side in the first half. I think Andoni Iraola, the Bournemouth manager, I think he'll be disappointed in their first half showing, because he knows he's got more from his team. So I'd expect them to come out with a little bit more energy, be a little bit more on the front foot. But we're looking at Sean Dyche as well. If it goes another 10-15 minutes where Everton haven't scored, then as a manager you've got to be making decisions. You know, I'm just looking, maybe you could go two up front with Beto and Calvert-Lewin, you know, and get the balls wide and just go sort of Burnley-esque, where you just get the balls into the box and try and create that little bit of havoc. But so it's just this game just waiting to be ignited. It's which team can do it.
Yeah, last season I watched a lot of Bournemouth. When they attack, they swarm. And Dominic Solanke was the perfect foil for the front line behind him, creating so many chances. What have you made of Evan Nilsson up front for Bournemouth?
Well, to be fair to him, it's been the loneliness of a long-distance centre-forward, to be fair, because he hasn't had a lot of service. When it has come into him, he's very good technically. He looks to try and get in behind. You know, I like the fact that, you know, we've got a centre-forward that doesn't just keep coming to feet all the time, but he's had no service because Bournemouth couldn't get a foothold into the game because of Borenham and Idrissa Gueye dominating in that midfield area.
It's time for the second half in the sunshine. The players are back out. Perry Groves is alongside our match commentator Ian Danter.
Thank you, Chris. And Everton will get us underway in their blue shirts, white shorts and socks, heading for the Gladys Street to our left, as they love to do in the second half of matches. Bournemouth in their first choice colours of red and black stripes with the black shorts and socks. They're heading for the Park end to our right. That's the end to which the Bournemouth fans are closest, in the lower paddock of the Bullins Road, opposite our commentary position. It's back with Jordan Pickford. I'm running through the lineups in just a moment when we get a break in play. Jack Harrison sprinting after the ball down the right-hand side, and Calvert-Lewin wins it down by the corner flag on that right-hand side for Everton. Harrison finds Irogbunum, who's had an impressive first half, driving in field and going for goal. It's blocked by a Bournemouth leg. Really fiercely struck by Tim Irogbunum, out of play for an Everton throw, 0-0.
Dance, it wasn't a Bournemouth leg, it was right into Lewis Cook's midriff. So he's done well. It's one of those, count them, son, you're going to be all right. He was brave there, Lewis Cook, because it was good play for him. Irogbunum just cutting him from that right-hand side, just put his laces through it. Brave block from Lewis Cook.
Lovely ball in field, finds Gay inside the area, right-hand side, helped up by Coleman, can't get the cross in. Did it flex off a Bournemouth boot? No, it didn't. It's a goal kick. So I'll run you through the lineups. For Everton, Pickford in goal, then Coleman, Tarkowski, Keane and Mikolenko, Irogbunum and Gay holding, Harrison, Njai and McNeil behind Calvert-Lewin. For Bournemouth, Kepa in goal, Araujo, Zabani, Senesi, Kerkez at the back, Christie and Cook, then Semenyo, Tavernier and Kluivert in behind Evan Nilsson. So it's a goal kick for Kepa Arrizabalaga, right-footed, drives it just to the left of centre. Up go the heads, and it's won back by Seamus Coleman under no real pressure from Tavernier. Balls forward, and Tarkowski will float the ball back somewhat to Jordan Pickford. Didn't spot what was behind him, and Evan Nilsson was there, but didn't get anywhere near it in the end.
Dance, he's got away with them there, Tarkowski, because he had no idea what was going on behind him, and he's actually lofted the pass back to Jordan Pickford. And if Jordan Pickford was another 3 or 4 yards off his line, that would have put him bang in trouble. That's why you could hear the gasp from the Everton fans. So Tarkowski's just got to be a little bit more aware.
Calvert-Lewin's just been penalised for what he thought was a foul on him by Araujo, but Stuart Atwell, the referee, said quite the opposite. So Bournemouth's free kick, midway point of their own half, to be taken by Ilya Zabani. Just rolls it to his right for Lewis Cook. And he'll give it back to the centre-half Zabani, and further back to Arrizabalaga, who still looks like he needs to get on the weights. Much as Perry was saying, we all thought about David De Gea when he first arrived in the Premier League as Manchester United's keeper. Here is Senesi with a clearance that it sits so firmly, it hits the floodlight pylons and the flags above that Bullins Road stand. That's quite an effort to hit the ball that high.
And to ricochet, it's like a pinball, isn't it?
Yeah.
In between like the floodlights, back onto the roof, floodlights.
Christie for Bournemouth finds Semenyo driving into the edge of the area, rides one challenge, in slides Tarkowski, comes out to Tavernier, and he hits the ball against Coleman, and behind for an early Bournemouth corner in this second half, 0-0.
Yeah, it's Ryan Christie just finding that avenues and alleyways, just getting himself into the box, just getting it to Semenyo. Semenyo's trying to get his left foot shot away. In the end, it was a really good block at the near post from James Tarkowski for corner for Bournemouth on the left-hand side.
Now, the last time Lewis Cook had a right-footed in-swinging corner from the left, it did create a good half chance for Bournemouth. Senesi was the play he looked for on the far post. He's in with a clutch of players around the penalty spot. In it comes, near post from Cook, headed out by Calvert-Lewin. Good strong defending by the Everton number 9, but Kerkez works it back out to Cook on the left-hand side. Back for Kerkez, diagonal ball into the box. Will it drop for Zabani? No, it's headed away as far as Tavernier. Tavernier is dispossessed by Iliman Njai, now trying to launch a counter-attack for Everton, but there's Bournemouth shirts flooding back. Njai gets over the halfway line, taking on Araujo, twisting and turning and trying to make room, and then goes to ground, and he's fouled. It was actually Kluivert that brought him down, not Araujo. So Everton have a free kick, left-hand side, pretty much level with the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area. 0-0, 4 minutes gone, second half.
Actually, to be fair, when Tavernier and Kluivert have come back, they don't need to make the foul, because, to be fair, Araujo, he kept his eye on the ball, and Jai was actually just moving it from one foot to the other. He's got a low centre of gravity. He was just trying to come inside to go outside of Araujo. He had him, and then Tavernier just come and pushed him over.
Bristol Rovers 2, Cambridge United 0. Promise Omachuri with his second of the afternoon. Cambridge yet to win in the league this season in League One. Dwight McNeil with a free kick at the Gladys Street end then for Everton. Bournemouth holding their line about level with a penalty spot. In it comes from McNeil. Good delivery, but headed up and out by Zabani to the edge of the area. Christie tries to keep it away from Gay, and it drifts out to the right wing for Tarkowski, who's trying to make space for a cross as he runs behind the pillar right in front of my commentary position, but he appears from view once again and gives it to McNeil. Whips an early ball into the box. Calvert-Lewin chests it down, and Michael Keane fires it home expertly along the deck and into the bottom corner. And Sean Dyche finally has an August goal to celebrate as Everton manager. Will it be a goal that nets them all 3 points? Super strike by Michael Keane, low and true into the bottom corner. 5 minutes after the restart, Everton 1, Bournemouth 0.
Michael Keane finds himself where somewhere only he knows. Just good play from Everton, just recycle the ball. First from Tarkowski on the right hand side into Gay. Then the ball comes out to Harrison. Harrison just puts the ball into the box. It's a brilliant chest down from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dance. We said about him being a lot stronger. He's just made sure he's easy defender off the ball. Just laid it off of his chest. Brilliant finish from Michael Keane. Just making sure he puts the foot through the ball, giving Kepa absolutely no chance. Low down to his right hand side to put Everton 1-0 up here at Goodison Park.
Great chest down from Calvert-Lewin to set up Michael Keane. Not a prolific goal scorer at all, Michael Keane, but he took that really clinically. Calvert-Lewin himself would have been proud of that finish. And Bournemouth are behind at Goodison Park. And really, Everton probably deserved that goal on the balance of play over the course of the first half and the early stages of the second.
That's what we were saying, wasn't it, in the first half, that Everton build-up play was great. They just need to show that bit of quality in the wide area. It was really good ball in from Jack Harrison with his left foot in swinging, saying Dominic Calvert-Lewin doing what you want your centre-forward to do and being strong and robust. Brilliant lay-off of his chest. Excellent finish from Michael Keane.
Bournemouth in possession inside their own half. Zabani just steps away from McNeil, clips it in field to Tavernier. Tavernier tried to loft it up to halfway, intercepted by Rogbinham. Everton have it back. Gay now just ahead of the centre circle, has got Njai just ahead of him. Njai flicks it back to Gay. Lovely ball clipped down the left hand side of the box for Calvert-Lewin. First time ball across the face of goal. In went McNeil, comes out to Gay, who drives it into the turf, and that makes the save easier for Kepa, holding on to it in front of his goal line. But Everton have their tails up and they're 1 up.
Needed roles reverse their Dance, because it was Calvert-Lewin going down the left-hand side, getting to the byline, getting a really good cross in, and Dwight McNeil coming in the centre-forward position. If those roles reversed, then you'd like to think Calvert-Lewin gets a header, comes out to Gay. Gay's got to get a better contact. He actually scuffed the ball into the turf and just bounced up for Kepa. Simple save.
Everton 1, Bournemouth 0. There's a foul on an Everton player on halfway. Dwight McNeil was a bit unhappy because he felt that was his opportunity to stride forward on the counter-attack, but nothing doing, says Stuart Atwell. Michael Keane only scored 1 goal last season in the Premier League for Everton in 12 appearances, and I think only 4 of those were starts. So he's been starved of regular first-team football at Everton. Sri Lanka already lost a wicket as they chase 4-8-3 to win against England at Lord's. 20-1 the current score at HQ. 1-0 to Everton here with 8 minutes gone of the second half. Pickford with a free kick, swirling it into the area, but Semenyo can let it run across his body and behind for a goal kick, because the free kick from Pickford was just hit too long and too straight. Everton have won 6 out of their last 7 Premier League home games against Bournemouth, but they did lose 3-1 here in the final game of 2019-20. That was behind closed doors under Project Restart. 38,805 in attendance at Goodison Park this afternoon, and the vast majority of those very happy with what they're seeing in the bright sunshine. 9 minutes gone, second half. Perry Groves 1-0 to Everton.
Yeah, you'd say it's fully deserved. You're just looking at the Bournemouth fans over in the far right corner, Dance. If you look from the media box, and they hadn't have anything to shout about, really. I think they'll either be really disappointed so far with the showing from their team, because Everton
again have Coleman inside the area, making space, and he lifted it over the crossbar. Lovely turn inside the defender as he got to the right-hand corner of the 6-yard box, bought himself space, but the shot was deflected over for a corner kick. So nearly a picture-book goal for Seamus Coleman, 1-0.
Dancy's got his head in his hands because he realises that's a gilt-edged chance. He's taken a touch too many. Good link-up play from Everton on their right-hand side. Great little reverse pass from Dwight McNeil. And as it comes to Seamus Coleman, he should be hitting it with the outside of his right foot, so Kepa can't get himself a chance to get set, and he takes another chance, goes inside Senesi, and then he just tried to dink it over Kepa. Kepa makes a save. Corner for Everton on their right-hand side.
Where the Gladys Street meets the Bullens Road, and Dwight McNeil yet to place the ball down. The referee Stuart Atwell just having a word with a couple of players in the 6-yard box. Now McNeil has got it spotted down over on the far side of the field. Everton looking to make their pressure count. In it comes the corner from McNeil, deep to the far post, kept in play, but Bournemouth will get it clear. Almost thought he was going to run for an Everton boot at the edge of the box. It's back with Coleman in the centre circle, floats it out to McNeil on that right-hand side, but he shows too much of that to Senesi throw in. Elsewhere, Oxford have turned it around against Preston. They were 1-0 down early on, but they're now 2-1 up. Tyler Guttram for the U's at the Kazam Stadium. Portsmouth 0, Sunderland 2. Eliezer Mayenda with a second for Sunderland. Bolton 0, Exeter 2. Milenic Ali and Nathan Lowe on the score sheet once again for Walsall as they lead Cheltenham 1-0 in League 2. And elsewhere in League 2, Grimsby 2-0 up on Bradford City. 1-0 here to Everton. 10 minutes gone, second half. On Talksport 2, Irobenham strides infield purposefully, can't get past the challenge of Senesi, but then it's through the legs of Njai and it's back in the area. Calvert-Lewin! Brilliant goal! Poacher's finish. Dominic Calvert-Lewin takes the acclaim at the corner flag, and Everton double their lead within 5 minutes of taking the advantage. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin in front of goal was never going to pass up that opportunity. It was great skill from Irobenham at first and Jai involved, but when the ball broke to Dominic Calvert-Lewin 6 yards out, inevitable finish. Everton 2, Bournemouth 0.
Dance, that's 1 assist and 1 goal from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Brilliant play on the edge of the 18-yard box from Njai. Gets some great little nutmegs, and as the ball just comes through, just comes to Dwight McNeil. It's a fantastic little reverse pass from Dwight McNeil in the D with his left foot, just puts it into the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and then it's can you keep your coolness, can you keep your head? Exactly what he does, because as Kepa just slides out, Calvert-Lewin doesn't break his side, just dinks it over the top of him into the back of the net to where Everton deservedly 2-0 up here at Goodison Park against Bournemouth.
Well, he was linked to Chelsea as a potential late target in the transfer window just gone. Everton's top scorer last season with 8, and now he has his first of the season to put Everton clearly ahead of Bournemouth as we approach the hour mark, and I wonder whether that will prompt some changes from Andoni Iraola. Bournemouth have not had anything in answer to Everton's pressure at the start of this second half. They seem to have them relatively well contained in the first half, Perry, but as we approach the hour mark, work to do for the team from the south coast.
Well, the difference in this second half, Dance, is that Everton have had that little bit of quality in the final third. The first bit coming from Harrison was crossed into Calvert-Lewin with his chest off to Michael Keane, and there it's a brilliantly worked goal from Everton, because we talked about Njai bringing good in like tight areas. He gets a brilliant nutmegs on the edge of the 18-yard box, comes to Dwight McNeil, and the weight of his pass was perfect for Calvert-Lewin. Put it right in his stride.
Here's McNeil again, feeding Calvert-Lewin down the left-hand side as he breaks into the Bournemouth half, plays it to the edge of the area, looking to play McNeil back in, half cleared by Bournemouth. Njai goes down, gets up again when he hadn't won the free kick. Brilliant skill from Iliman Njai, but he ends up losing out, and the Everton fans think he deserves a free kick because he was running into traffic and somehow stayed on his feet. But no free kick given by Stuart Atwell, and Bournemouth clear. Flicked on halfway for Evan Nilsson. Brings the ball down, then tries to flick it into the path of Ryan Christie behind him. But it's back with Everton. 2-0 Everton lead as we approach the hour on Talksport 2.
Dan, Iliman Njai, he could find his way out of a Crystal Maze with a blindfold on. He had 5 Bournemouth players around him there, and the thing I liked about him, he got fouled once, got bundled onto the floor, just bounced straight back up again, get the ball, just a little 1-2 of himself. And to be fair, I think it was a foul from Senesi, but sure, Atwell just like wave play on. You could hear, obviously, to the disgust of the Everton fans. But they'll be delighted with the performance they've seen from their team here today, because they're under a lot of pressure before the game, losing their first two without scoring. And this is exactly the reaction that Sean Dyche would have wanted.
Free kick to Everton, but they've lost out. 2-0 on the hour on Talksport 2. Bournemouth trying to respond. They float it down the left-hand side for Justin Kluivert, but he can't get past the shoulder charge of James Tarkowski. Elsewhere, Portsmouth 0, Sunderland 3. Romain Mundle for Sunderland with their third of the afternoon. Millwall lead Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship by 1-0. And you're listening to Everton 2, Bournemouth 0 on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contract on now, like West Ham against Manchester City live today. Search Now Sports. And the game day phone-in will bring you plenty of updates from Ian Abrahams at the London Stadium over on Talksport from 5:30. That's the first opportunity anywhere on national radio to get your calls in and talk about today's games that you've seen with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We've also got more Championship football for you tomorrow on Talksport 2. Sheffield United against Watford. Chris Wilder up against the team where he had a short spell in charge when he was at Vicarage Road. Monday night League 2 action on Talksport 2. Salford City against MK Dons. And then the EFL Trophy on Tuesday night. We're at St Andrews for Birmingham City against Walsall, a local derby in that Southern Group stage set. Of course, international weekend next weekend. Lee Carsley's first England game next Saturday at 4 o'clock versus the Republic of Ireland in Dublin, live on Talksport. Iliman Ndiaye wriggles away from a challenge again, plays it through to Calvert-Lewin, lets it run for McNeil, back in for Calvert-Lewin, and he just couldn't make the shot work for him. Tried to be too intricate there, really. Everton, it could so easily have been 3-0 in the blink of an eye.
What's happened to Everton, Dan? They've turned like the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, the confidence is just flowing through their veins at the moment. Brilliant play again from Iliman Ndiaye. Just rolled it out to Dwight McNeil on the edge of the 18-yard box. I think he should be shooting, Dan. He should be putting his foot through the ball. Probably one pass too many. Tried to reverse it into Calvert-Lewin, overhit the pass. And in the end, Bournemouth scrambled back to put it for a corner for Everton over on their right-hand side.
Double change for Bournemouth coming up shortly. Sinistera and Scott are the players being readied underneath us by Andoni Iraola. But meantime, it's another Everton corner at the Gladys Street end away to our left. McNeil, again, just waiting, holding onto the ball, and will only now spot it down in that quadrant where the Gladys Street meets the Bullens Road. Going to be a left-footed in-swinger, but again, the referee Stuart Atwell won't allow the kick to be taken until he's just sorted out a bit of pushing and shoving around the 6-yard area, and he's having a chat with Irogbenham, I think, about his role in what's going on right in front of goal. And he says no more, Stuart Atwell. Now he backs away, and again McNeil, who'd picked the ball up, will spot the ball down. Clearly a thing that McNeil's got. We won't let the ball rest on the quadrant for too long if he can avoid it. In it comes now from the Everton number 7, right under the crossbar. Keane at the far post took out his head in it, but it came off the head of Christie. Yet another corner for Everton. 63 gone, 2-0 they lead.
Yeah, it's just Dwight McNeil again, as you said there, Dan. It's just bounced the ball on the floor. That obviously the sign for Michael Keane to spin to the far post, where he just whips it in with a lot of pace.
Yeah, it's going to be a corner on this other side now, the near side to us, where the Gladys Street meets the main stand. In fact, it's going to be a triple change for Bournemouth. Not just Sinistera and Scott, but also Dango Ouattara is going to be brought on. 3 very attacking players. Corner from McNeil to the edge of the area. Semenyo heads it down, hooked away from danger. Suddenly it's 4-on-3 for Bournemouth, and Semenyo's away right-hand side. Semenyo plays a crossfield ball looking for Tavernier. Pickford comes just outside of his penalty area and heads it clear to a huge roar of approval. And now Everton are on a counter-attack with Jack Harrison releasing Calvert-Lewin down the right-hand side of the box. Zabarnyu with him. Calvert-Lewin clips it neatly in field for Irogbenham with his back to goal. 20 yards out. Looking to make space, teases it back out to Calvert-Lewin on the right wing. Now there's a few more blue shirts heading into the penalty area, but Everton have decided to work it back to halfway. The Bournemouth substitutes still wait for their chance to come onto the field. 2-0 Everton. Harrison, centre of the Bournemouth half, finds McNeil. He works it up to Njai, inside the area, wriggles away from a challenge. Great save, Kepa Arrizabalaga low down to his left to deny Njai a third goal of the afternoon. It's out to play for a throw, and Everton really are enjoying their football.
Yeah, Everton fans are going to love Iliman Njai dance. He's 1v1 with Araujo, just gets into the 18-yard box, and cuts inside him, gets onto his right foot, smashes his shot away, brilliant save from Kepa low down to his left-hand side to stop it going 3-0 for Everton.
Sinisterra is coming on for Evanilson for the first change of the 3 that Bournemouth are making. Next player coming off would appear to be Kerkez. He's coming off to allow Dango Ouattara to come on. Wearing number 11, Dango Ouattara. And the other change was Ryan Christie going off, and that was to allow Alex Scott to come on. Wearing number 8 for Bournemouth. So, triple change. Let's see what effect that has. 25 minutes to go on Talksport 2. It is 2-0 to Everton. And they have a throw on the right-hand side, but Bournemouth win it back. In fact, Bournemouth have conceded a free kick right under the nose of Stuart Atwell. Leeds United now do have the lead against Hull City. Matteo Joseph has given them the lead at Ellen Road just after the hour. Leeds 1, Hull 0. A few Everton substitutes come out to warm up and get some warm applause from the Gladys Street end. Beto amongst those warming up. But a free kick to Everton, not quite level with the edge of the penalty area. Probably about 25 yards from the byline, but only a yard in from the right-hand touchline. Again, it'll be Dwight McNeil with a left-footed whip on this centre to try and terrorise the Bournemouth defence. In it comes from McNeil, whipped in front of goal, headed out of the near post by Sinisterra, his first involvement since coming on. Scott heads it down, and now away come Bournemouth on the counter-attack. Great pace from Marcus Tavernier, outpacing Gay for the moment, but Gay gets back goal side. Tavernier right-hand side will work it back 10 yards or so to Araujo. Infield it goes to Scott, once from Bristol City. Back it goes to Zabani. Then across to Senesi. Senesi will stroke it out to the left-hand side. And be Ouattara, who's playing on that left-hand side for the moment. Worked infield to Tavernier. Kluivert gone ahead of him into the area, but the ball intended for him is easily covered by Seamus Coleman. Turns away from Kluivert into his own penalty area. Clears in the end, only as far as Lewis Cook. Ouattara out on the left-hand side. Whips an early cross in, and it's Tarkowski with a no-nonsense clearance into the Bournemouth fans opposite us. 2-0 Everton with a quarter of the game to go.
Yeah, the Bournemouth manager, Andani Iraola, obviously trying to make a change because he's seen nothing from his Bournemouth side. Just coming to 67 minutes played. So it looks like Kluivert's going to go through the middle with Sinisterra, said dance over on that left-hand side.
So a goal kick to Everton. Monday Night Football, as I mentioned, Salford, MK. Game day phone-in coming up at 5:30 over on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. White and Jordan back Monday morning from 10 a.m. Graham Souness will be their regular Monday guest, running the rule over all the big talking points of the weekend with Jim and Simon and Graham. Make sure you're with them for that. Here is Iliman Njai trying to burst clear for Everton towards the edge of the area, trying to be held up by Araujo. Njai gets it onto his right foot, tries to curl it into the top corner, but overhits it. But again, warm applause for Iliman Njai, who, as Perry Groves has rightly intimated already, is going to be a fan favourite at Goodison Park. 2-0.
Well, I think Araujo's going to have to get himself in an ice bath, Danso, because all of his joints are going to be aching after this 90 minutes at Goodison Park, because every time the ball comes out to Iliman Njai, he's got one thought and one thought only, that's to go 1v1.
Oh, poor ball by Scott up to halfway, intercepted by Keane. Now Neil's going to go for goal. Harrison tries a shot from distance, and it's straight into the arms of Kepa. Reading 1, Charlton 0. Charlie Savage, son of Robbie, scores for Reading. Brentford 2-0 upon Southampton in the Premier League. Another for Brian Burmo this afternoon. And Villa 2 up at Leicester in that Midlands derby. John Duran with the second at the King Power. You're up to date on Talksport. Thelo Asgard equalises for Wigan at Birmingham City. 1-1 at St Andrews. Wigan would be delighted that they cut hold of Asgard in the transfer window. and he has the equaliser. Just over 20 minutes to go here at Goodison Park. What have Bournemouth got left in response to that quick-fire brace from Everton? The goals from Michael Keane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin separating the sides. Ball's won back by Everton inside their own half. Good industry from Jack Harrison. Ndiaye again. Feints to pass the ball in field, but then drops his shoulder, tries to go on the outside of Tavernier. Oh, lovely skill, Iliman Ndiaye. Twinkle toes, puts a left-footed ball in, just out of the reach of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Senesi turning behind, and there's a standing ovation around us for Iliman Ndiaye and the effort he's putting in right now for the sake of his new club.
Thanks, I'd like to give him a standing ovation as well myself, but I think I've just put my right knee joint out because he's twisted and turned me, and I'm sitting up in the media box because he's got a low centre of gravity. He likes going 1v1. This time he goes on the outside of Ruaho, just tries to get his cross in with his left foot. It's a really good ball in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot, and to be fair, it's really good defending at the far post from Senesi, making sure that Dominic Calvert-Lewin can't just come and tap in at the far post.
So a corner to Dwight McNeil with 20 minutes to go. Again, it's where the Gladys Street meets the Bullens Road on the far side of the field from us. Whipped in to the near post. Up go the heads, and it's headed into the side netting for a goal kick. And it's currently Everton 2, Bournemouth 0. For the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Everton at 33-1 on to get the win. Bournemouth 55-1, the draw 16-1. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18+, begambleaware.org. Bournemouth nearly gave the ball up in a dangerous area, but Harrison couldn't make anything off it. Stuart Atwell is dumped on the seat of his pants. That was the big cheer you heard. And then Senesi's wrestled to the ground by Gay, and Bournemouth get a free kick just shy of the halfway line. 2-0 to Everton on Talksport 2.
Yeah, just looking at Bournemouth down, you said just change of shape and position. Senesi goes out on that left-hand side, Clivert goes through the middle, Semenyo on this right-hand side, Ouattara at left-back, and Tavernier going a little bit more central.
Everton trying to wrestle possession back inside their own half, and McNeil does that. Guided down by Harrison for Coleman. Good ball up to halfway, but McNeil won't get there. Senesi will. 2-0 to Millwall against Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. Duncan Watmore. And elsewhere, 3-0 now to Brentford against Southampton. Johan Visser with the third. Bournemouth coming forward with Sinisterra. Tucks it out to the left-hand side for Ouattara. Deep cross. Araujo hooks it back into play, almost drifted out of play. Back goes Alex Scott to retrieve it and finds Sabani on halfway. Stevenage 0, Lincoln 1 in League 1. Jack Moylan for Lincoln, and Walsall 2-0 upon Cheltenham in League 2. Jamil Matt with the second for the Saddlers. Sinisterra out to the left-hand side, plays a 1-2 with Ouattara, goes for the ball, but he's offside as he received the ball back. Sinisterra, so it's a free kick instead for Everton, just at the corner of their own penalty area. 73 minutes gone on Talksport 2. 2-0 to Everton. And Sean Dyche just having a chat with Ian Woan, his trusted assistant, about whether there's any changes that need to be made. They haven't made one yet.
You know what he's saying to him? I told him all not to panic.
Well, that
but
may
he
well
does.
be
To
it.
be fair to Sean Dyche, he doesn't panic, Dan. See, he's like, I've seen this all before. He's experienced manager. In his programme notes, he was mentioning, we said about the togetherness, you know, and like the club being as one. And then also said about Iliman Ndiaye, where he thinks he's better on the left-hand side, where he goes 1v1, and he's the one who's provided that spark in the second half. Because when he gets on the ball, then all the Everton fans are on the edge of their seat. And have you ever seen a standing ovation for a player who's actually still playing without being substituted?
Well, that just maybe that shows one of two things. It could be how starved the Everton fans have been of anybody with a bit of a maverick tendency about them, so that because they've been starved of it for so long, they just can't wait to appreciate it.
Yeah, they want to be excited, and he's provided that. And again, with Chris, when we was doing the build-up to the game, we was talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's the one who stood up as well as a centre forward. Literally stood up, you know, with his lay off of his chest.
Free kick to Everton, swung into the Bournemouth box, but it will bounce once and go behind for a goal kick. And the referee having to get involved in a bit of pushing. Semenyo involved, Kepa involved. There's Everton players like Tarkowski and Keane in there too, all just grappling with one another. No punches being thrown, but it's all a bit unseemly right in front of the Everton fans in the Gladys Street end. And they're still not stopped holding onto each other and grabbing one another's collars. And Stuart Atwell's got a little bit to sort out here.
You know what, Dance? He hasn't really. It's playground stuff. It was Semenyo and Michael Keane at the far post. Semenyo did really well and he blocked Michael Keane. Michael Keane just gave him a little shove with his shoulder. Semenyo wasn't happy. So it's playground stuff. And the thing that annoyed me, if I was Andoni Iraola, this is pseudo-aggression from the Bournemouth players. You think, right, you've all surrounded referee, you know, you've got with your player. Show that much aggression in free play. Because we said before the game about Bournemouth committing most fouls from the start of last season to where we are now, 535. They've been passive.
Well, Keane's got a yellow card from the referee.
Well, Semenyo's got to get one as well, then.
Well, Michael Keane has run away from Stuart Atwell, but Atwell wants him to be looking at him when he gives him the caution, just so he absolutely knows. And Semenyo, he's just been told to cut it out. There's no yellow card, I don't think. Oh yes, there is. Finally there is for Antoine Semenyo, so they're both booked for their part in that. It's going to be a couple of changes for Bournemouth. Dean Hysson, and Adam Smith, who's going to go, I think, 9th on the all-time Bournemouth appearance list when he gets on for this substitute appearance. Leicester 1, Aston Villa 2. Leicester get a goal back through Facundo Buonanotte. Oxford 3, Preston 1. Greg Lee gets a third for Oxford. Remember, they were 1-0 down there early on. And Preston are down to 10 men. Liam Lindsay was sent off for the Lily Whites. Ball's out of play. Iliman and Jai again working really hard down the left-hand side. Here come the changes for Bournemouth, and Hysson coming on for Senesi and Smith coming on for Araujo. So like for like, really. Centre-half and right-back coming on for likewise. So Bournemouth have got 14 minutes to do something about this scoreline. Everton fans getting ready to celebrate a rare August win at home in the Premier League. And Semenyo can't keep the ball in play. That's fired at him somewhat, very difficult for him to control, and it went straight out of play for a throw-in. Harrogate 0, Barrow 1. Neo Eccleston for Barrow. Bournemouth trying to get away down the left-hand side with Clivert. Tavernier's got into the area. He's got help there too from Semenyo. Sinistera gives it back down the left-hand side for Clivert. Clips it to the far post. Headed up in the air and away by Mikolenko. Kept in play by Tavernier on this right-hand side. Scott in support, with Bournemouth attacking the park end to our right, but they've barely tested Jordan Pickford in this game. I can't think of a meaningful save that Pickford's had to make. Maybe Hysson might be able to test him as he strode forward, but overhit the pass, and Pickford prevents it going behind for what he thought might have been a corner. 2-0 Everton, 13 to play.
You know what I think? I was just give a little hand signal, Jordan Pickford, to the Bournemouth fans. He's not shy and coming forward, is he, Jordan Pickford? Bit of engagement, and I think he's had one punch in the first half from a corner, and he's had a header on the edge of the 18-yard box, isn't he, where Bournemouth tried to hit everyone on the counter-attack, where his starting position was really good, where he come out and cleared it, and that's been about it.
Everton 2, Bournemouth 0 on Talksport 2. Reading 2, Charlton 0 in League 1. Sam Smith, who was their top scorer last season, puts Reading further clear at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. You're listening to Everton 2, Bournemouth 0 on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you. Chris Latcham's with us too. And we've got 12 minutes of normal time remaining in the sunshine on Merseyside.
This is now just about game management from Everton, because they've been by far the better side. They've been on the front foot. They've found that bit of quality second half. All they've got to do now with Irobonum and Idrissa Gueye in that centre midfield area, just tell them just to sit there. They don't need to go anywhere. Just make sure you protect the back four.
Calvert-Lewin, who scored Everton's second of the game, can't keep the ball in play on this near side. Smith takes the throw in quickly for Bournemouth. Little turn on halfway from Clivert, but can't run round Michael Keane, who's almost twice the size of him, and a difficult opponent to navigate your way around. Eropenham works it out to Coleman, right hand side. Now fleet of foot Jack Harrison nips in field. Good skill from Jack Harrison, but runs into one challenge too many, and then one back by Timo Rogbinum, striding forward. Lovely long-legged stride of Timo Rogbinum, but he runs out of room. But then he wins it back, goes for goal at the edge of the area, and it whistles over the crossbar. Goal kick to Bournemouth, but Timo Rogbinum has caught the eye, as well as Iliman Ndiaye this afternoon for Everton. They lead 2-0.
Yeah, Rogbinum's been outstanding in that centre midfield area. So he's got a good combination with Idrissa Gueye. He's got a very languid style, hasn't he, Dance? He's very comfortable in possession when he's just running with the ball. Just like sort of glides along, makes sure he goes and gets his challenges in. He's very, very strong.
Here he is again, just shy of the halfway line. Early ball finds Dwight McNeil. Tries to toe poke it through to Calvert-Lewin, who was just ahead of him. But it's won back by Bournemouth. But then in steps Ndiaye to dispossess Scott. He does the ugly stuff well too, Iliman Ndiaye. But then we saw plenty of that, Perry, when you and I watched Sheffield United in the Premier League when Ndiaye was there.
Yeah, he's got a good attitude. And the thing that Sean Dyche love as well is because obviously he's an attacking player and he wants to get himself on the ball, but then he works hard out of possession where he gets himself back in the team shape very quickly.
Semenyo for Bournemouth, right-hand corner of the penalty area. Strong run as he tried to play it in field to find a teammate. He couldn't do so, but he's won it back strongly. Right-hand corner of the box, still going. Semenyo trying to make room for a shot on his left. Can't make the room to get the shot away. Inside the D now with his back to goal. Works it back 5 yards for Scott. Now Smith, right-hand side for the Cherries. First time cross off the back of Mikolenko, and out of play for a corner to Bournemouth with 10 minutes to go. Everton 2-0 up.
Michael Keane did really well there, because when Semenyo's just come in from this right-hand side, he's trying to get it onto his left foot, see if he can bend it past Jordan Pickford. And Michael Keane normally dives in, but he's actually made the right decisions today because he stayed on his feet. He showed him onto Tarkowski. Tarkowski then doesn't dive in. Semenyo just runs into bodies. Semenyo gets his shot away. Corner for Bournemouth on their right-hand side.
To be taken by Tavernier, left-footed into the near post. Heads go up, Everton get it half clear. Lewis Cook tried to steer it back across the face of goal, but a poor touch brought away by Ndiaye, but he runs into Scott. In steps Calvert-Lewin to hoof it up to halfway, but Bournemouth win it back again. Hyson plays it out to Tavernier, right-hand side, comes in field, goes for goal, and Pickford does make a save and pushes it away theatrically, and it's picked up by Rogbinum, and Everton can counter.
Dance, he should be doing his camera like little emoji now, because when Tavernier gets into his right foot,
Sinistera moves in field to 30 yards out. He goes for goal, and that's wide. Pickford again flying to his right, but didn't need to go for the save. It was well wide in the end, but a bit more intent from Bournemouth in these last couple of minutes, and Everton are going to react to that by making a change. They're going to bring on Abdoulaye Doucouré in the next few moments, maybe even before Jordan Pickford takes this goal kick with 8 minutes to go. And indeed the change is going to be made, and coming off for Everton it is going to be Iliman Ndiaye, and every Everton fan, man, woman and child, gets to their feet to salute. If he doesn't get man of the match, then there's something wrong. Iliman Ndiaye. Perry Groves?
Gantz, I think he's been outstanding in this second half. Irabonum, I think, will run him quite closely, centre midfield. Calvert-Lewin with his assist and his goal as well. But as you can tell, Iliman Ndiaye is already a crowd favourite here at Goodison Park. He had a brilliant performance midweek against Doncaster Rovers, scored a great individual goal, and he's carried it on here. And say Sean Dyche was right in his programme notes, because he said that he thought he'd be better coming in from the left-hand side, and he'd be one who would give him that spark going forward. Exactly what he's done.
2-0 to Everton. In the Championship, Plymouth 0, Stoke 1. Million Man have put Stoke ahead at home park. Leeds have doubled their lead against Hull. Joe Peru makes it Leeds 2, Hull 0. And David McGoldrick has scored again for Notts County. They've turned it around at the county ground. Swindon 1, Notts County 2. Shrewsbury 2, Leyton Orient 0. Tom Bloxham for Shrewsbury. And a throw for Bournemouth on the left-hand side. But they are running out of time here, Andoni Iraola's side, to get something out of this game. Sinistera wins the throw in front of those Bournemouth fans on that far side of the field, in front of the Bullins Road paddock, to be taken by Ouattara. They've made all their changes, Bournemouth, to try and affect something in this second half, but only one meaningful effort from Tavernier that was pushed away by Pickford. Sinistera guides the ball down the left-hand side for Cook. Now it's tucked back into the centre circle for Zabarnyi. Out to this near side, but it won't find Semenyo because across came McNeil, doing his defensive duties well. Just a toe poke it out of play for a throw. Now it's won back by the Everton midfield, which is now bolstered in central midfield by Doucouré being there, just to add a bit of extra defensive shield in there along with the Robinham and Gay.
Yeah, a little bit more physicality as well. So he'll go and play in the 10 position. Dwight McNeil coming out onto this left-hand side.
Got some live Super League for you tonight on Talksport 2. Wigan Warriors against Catalans Dragons. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff with grand final and playoffs edging ever closer. That normally happens in mid-October during the international break. Oh, and Calvert-Lewin climbs all over the back of Adam Smith and thankfully didn't land too awkwardly. He's been given us a throw to Bournemouth. Grimsby 2, Bradford 1. Bradford get a goal back with Oliver Sanderson. And the ball is back with Bournemouth inside their own half. 5 minutes to go. 2-0 to Everton here on Talksport 2. I think Beto might get a short run. I think Ian Wone's giving him the signal to come back to the subs bench. Meantime, Zabarnyi on the halfway line squares it to his left for Hyson. Now Lewis Cook for Bournemouth. Hyson again will give the ball back to Zabarnyi. So Bournemouth, who felt hard done by with the points that they dropped in their opening 2 Premier League fixtures, probably won't have too many complaints about dropping all 3 here on Merseyside this afternoon. Still trying to do something about it though. Here's Justin Kluivert. Floats the ball out to this near side, the inside right position, and Adam Smith level with the edge of the Everton penalty area, trying to go on the outside of Mikalenko, gets the cross in, but Keane with a no-nonsense clearance into the lower paddock down beneath us. Throw-in taken quickly by Bournemouth, and it's Semenyo back to the halfway line, and Hyson. Cook now takes over on the inside left channel for Bournemouth. Ouattara and Sinisterra combining. Ouattara whips the ball in. Semenyo tucks it in, and suddenly Bournemouth have a route back into this game. Ball down the left-hand side was whipped in at pace, and Antoine Semenyo ghosted in at the far post, and it's all got a bit quiet at Goodison Park because the points are not yet safe for Everton. Everton 2, Bournemouth 1.
Dance is going to be a nervy last 4 minutes of normal time and added on time. Brilliant cross from Ouattara on that left-hand side. Just goes on the outside of Seamus Coleman, just whips the ball across the 6-yard box. Semenyo coming in, making sure he's that second centre forward, and Mikalenko just not aware of him as he comes over his right shoulder. As you said, it's going to be a very, very nervy last 3 minutes of normal time and added on time for this Goodison Park crowd. Bournemouth got themselves back in the game.
Calvert-Lewin coming off to allow Beto to come on. They're still going to make that change despite the scoreline. Millwall 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Jake Cooper with a third for Millwall. Accrington Stanley 1, Colchester 1. Ben Goodliff for Colchester at the Wham Stadium. Don't forget Talksport breakfast back from 6 a.m. on Monday. Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoy's to your team, looking back at all the weekend's action, including Manchester United, Liverpool, and the first Old Firm derby of the season. That's Talksport breakfast from 6 a.m. And of course, Sam Matterface has the Sunday session from 1:30 tomorrow with goals as they go in. Perry's going to be at Chelsea around the grounds, including that Glasgow derby and Chelsea Palace, Newcastle Spurs, and Manchester United Liverpool.
Dance, literally the silence is deafening, isn't it? Everton fans are really up. They're seeing a good performance for their team now. We've just switched off defensively.
McNeil drifts in across on the left-hand side, but nobody in front of goal for Everton, so hooked away by Ouattara. Kept in play for Everton by Seamus Coleman. Headed on by Doucouré, but Hyson will probably let that go over the dead ball line. Actually, he can't, because he's been dispossessed, and Everton have it in the box. Doucouré across the face of goal. Beto was caught on his heels and didn't slide it home when he could so easily have done so. McNeil drives the ball across the face of goal. That goes through about 3 players flying in the 6-yard box, 2 for Bournemouth and Beto for Everton, and nobody got a touch. Goal kick Bournemouth, 2-1 to Everton, last minute of normal time.
Do you know what, Dance? Beto should never go to Las Vegas because he just doesn't gamble, just doesn't get himself in the middle of that 6-yard box. Brilliant cross from Doucouré. Does exactly the right thing as he gets the ball from Jack Harrison, just feeds it across 6-yard box. If Beto gambles, then he taps it in from 2 yards.
Walsall 2, Cheltenham 1. George Miller gets a goal back for Cheltenham at the Poundland. Everton trying to keep the ball just inside the Bournemouth half. It might drop here for Tavernier in the centre circle. Goes down under pressure from Irogbenham. Referee allows the advantage because Bournemouth still have it. It's Alex Scott driving forward up to the edge of the area, looking to get Sinisterra in, but it was played just too far ahead of the former Leeds man, and Pickford can gratefully clutch hold of it as we tick round towards the end of the 90. 2-1 Everton.
Really good defending from James Tarkowski there. As he said, just trying to release Sinisterra, and all Tarkowski did was dance. He made sure, number one, that he went for the run, and number two, he just leaned across Sinisterra just to ease him off the ball, and it rolled through to Jordan Pickford.
We're into 6 minutes of minimum stoppage time. Beto for Everton, sliding the ball down the left-hand side, asking McNeil to give chase, and he gamely does so, despite the attentions of both Smith and Scott. Good ball between the two of them, finding Gay, gives it back to McNeil, left-hand corner of the area, infielder goes to Irogbenham, trying to make room for a shot, Tim Irogbenham. It might break for Idrissa Gay, lovely reverse ball, Irogbenham trying to play the ball across the face of goal, it's blocked by Zabarnyi. Irogbenham again, gives it back to McNeil, he tries a shot, and it's blocked by Scott, won't go out for a corner, and it's kept in play by Semenyo, who's under pressure from Mikalenko, but turns away from him very neatly, fires it up looking for Sinisterra on halfway, might get a second bite of the cherry, no, Everton win it back. Doucouré finds McNeil, and Everton will try and calm things down, work the ball into midfield. Irogbenham misplaces a pass, picked off by Scott. Was he fouled by Mikalenko? Well, the referee thought about giving a free kick but decided against it. Derby 3, Bristol City 0. David also. Bournemouth coming forward, it's with Sinisterra, right-hand side of the box, rolls the challenge of Gay, gets the cross in, and the header's in from Lewis Cook. Bournemouth have stolen a point at Goodison Park. Silence on Merseyside, save for the ecstatic Bournemouth fans in the Bullens Road. The cross from Sinisterra found one of the smallest men on the pitch. Lewis Cook rising on 6 yards, Pickford beaten. And Bournemouth look to have snatched a point in added time to silence Goodison Park. Everton 2, Bournemouth 2.
Dance. The Bournemouth players have got their Dick Turpin mask on because this is daylight robbery. You see the hunched shoulders of the Everton players. It's really good play down the right-hand side from Sinisterra. Gets to the byline. Everton don't stop the cross. And you said, Dance, Lewis Cook was what, probably 5'6"? Finds himself completely unmarked in the 6-yard box. His head's a ball into an empty net. It's stunned silence here at Goodison Park. The Everton fans can't believe what they're seeing. I can't believe what they're seeing because Everton have just stole defeat from the jaws of victory.
We've played 2 minutes of the minimum 6 that have been added on. 2-2 then on Talksport 2. Can anybody fashion a chance for a fifth and winning goal in either blue or red and black? And it's Bournemouth who've won the ball again, and it's Sinisterra charging out to the left-hand side. One or two joining him in the area. Sinisterra, left-hand corner of the box, clips the cross in. Mikalenko heads clear away from Semenyo, but Bournemouth have it back again. Suddenly it's desperate defending from Everton. Down the left-hand side of the box, it's drawn across. Keane heads it clear, only as far as Rawara jinking into the area, clips it to the far post, and the header goal was he blocked on the line. What a chance for Tavernier. And still Bournemouth have it. Left-hand side, kept in play by Kluivert. Then Harrison gets a foot in, down by the corner flag. Extraordinary climax to this game. Bournemouth suddenly on top from absolutely nowhere, and here's Ouattara, gets to the byline, pulls it back, Semenyo, edge of the area, ball won't sit down, shot saved brilliantly by Pickford, snap shot from Semenyo, Pickford kept it out. Everton could still lose this game.
Dance, there are 10 zombies now in Everton shirts. Everton are completely stunned.
Here's Semenyo now into the area, trying to get the ball to his left foot, drives it wide in the end, and Everton can breathe again and have a goal kick. 2-2 the score, nearly 4 minutes of added time played. Wow.
Dance, what a brilliant save from Jordan Pickford, low down to his left-hand side when Semenyo cut in, got himself into D with his left foot. He's unleashed a shot that's a brilliant save from Jordan Pickford. I can just see Sean Dyche in the technical area just pointing to his head and say, start thinking. This is like Everton 10 outfield players now are like 10 punch-drunk heavyweight boxers, where they've been jabbed and jabbed. Now it's whether Bournemouth can find a knockout punch. I'd just like to say, Dan, football is absolutely crazy. It is mad.
Coleman for Everton on halfway. 2 minutes of added time to go. 2-2 the score. Given away though. Bournemouth bring it clear. Strong run from Ouattara into the centre circle. Now Semenyo takes over. Oh, he hits the ball against an Everton player. Now McNeil tries to wrestle his way clear. Dwight McNeil pokes it through for Beto at the edge of the area. Inside Sabani to get it clear. Only as far as Mikalenko. The Everton fans in the Gladys Street roaring the team on, and then Mikalenko misplaces a pass out for a throw. Portsmouth 1, Sunderland 3. Luko 9 gets an own goal to get Portsmouth back in the game, and Birmingham have won it against Wigan. Scott Wright on his debut has made it Birmingham 2, Wigan 1. 2-2 here at Goodison Park. Last minute of added time. Pickford, who made a brilliant save to deny Semenyo just a moment ago, fires it left-footed downfield. This will feel like 3 points for Andoni Iraola, even if it is the third successive draw for the Cherries. Still have a chance to do something about the scoreline now with Marcus Tavernier, right-hand side, close to us. Wrestling for possession with Mikalenko. Comes in field, Tavernier. Clips it out to the left-hand side. 3 waiting for a cross. It's fired in, looking for the free header. It's in! Luis Sinisterra wins the game for Bournemouth. Unbelievable climax. 2-0 down, heading into added time. Bournemouth have scored 3 goals. Mass exodus around us at Goodison Park. Everton have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, and Luis Sinisterra crowns the win for Bournemouth, heading home from close range. It is a win for Bournemouth, and yet again Everton go winless in August under Sean Dyche in the Premier League and will stay bottom of the fledgling table. What a game of football. Everton 2, Bournemouth 3.
Dance, I said that the Everton outfield players are like punch-drunk heavyweight boxers. There's a knockout punch. Cross comes in from the left-hand side. Sinisterra is totally unmarked at the far post. They've completely been glammed, the Bournemouth players. They've completely lost their heads. Brilliant recovery from the Everton players. Brilliant recovery from Bournemouth. How Bournemouth have won this game, Dance, I'll never ever know. They were dead and buried after 80 minutes. They've got themselves back into it, with Semenyo obviously getting the first goal, then Lewis Cook a free header from 2 yards, and Sinisterra then just a simple header at the far post. Brilliant play from Bournemouth last 10 minutes. Absolutely shocking from Everton.
Back underway on Talksport 2, but the 7 minutes, it's 7 minutes gone. We added 6 minimum on. So it's just a question of how long Stuart Atwell feels we can still play for. Semenyo just hooks the ball clear. Tarkowski giving chase. He's the only player, apart from Pickford, inside the half of the field. It's just going to go long downfield. It's going to be a Hail Mary from James Tarkowski, looking to get a blue shirt on it. It's headed out by Hyson for Bournemouth and then clipped over the halfway line, asking Tavernier to give chase. He won't get anywhere near that. Be retrieved by Gay. All eyes on Stuart Atwell. How long left? Can Bournemouth hang on? It's the full-time whistle. It's all over at Goodison Park. The boos from the few remaining Everton spectators tell you how they feel. They were in seventh heaven when Everton were 2-0 up early in the second half. Keane and Calvert-Lewin putting them firmly in control, and that was the score for so long in the second half. But Bournemouth, who had won just 2 of their last 10 Premier League away games, found a way to score 3 goals around the added time mark to seal an extraordinary victory here at Goodison Park. Semenyo on 87, Cook on 92, Sinisterra on 96. It's 11 months since Everton lost back-to-back home Premier League games. Remember, they lost 4 in a row at the start of last season. That was why the crisis was talked about here before. Well, they've now lost their first 2 of this campaign, but you never would have believed that was possible. With 5 minutes of normal time to go, at full time, it's the Bournemouth fans in the lower paddock opposite us who are in happy disbelief. Elsewhere around Goodison Park, it is despondent disbelief. Full time at Goodison Park. Everton 2, Bournemouth 3.
Despondence, despair everywhere you look around Goodison Park, apart from that little red corner on the far side away to the right-hand side, and it's over to them now that the victorious Bournemouth players are making a beeline. That is one of the all-time Premier League away days. But Perry, you said daylight robbery. How have Everton surrendered this? Not just the point, they were home and hosed.
Chris, we said it was about game management. On the 87th minute, they were cruising. Everton were 2-0 up. I can't believe what I'm seeing, because the turnaround, I think this is one of the greatest turnarounds in Premier League history, because I said 87th minute, done and dusted. To be fair to Andoni, he made 5 substitutions, and one of the substitutions was Sinistera, who's come on. He's had an assist for the second goal, and he's actually scored the winner in the 90+6 minute of added on time. I'm shell shocked. I think you're seeing it all in football, and I've just watched this. And to say, if you'd have said after 87 minutes that Bournemouth win this game 3-2, you'd say you've got absolutely no chance. To be fair to the Bournemouth fans, they actually stayed, because their team was getting their bellies tickled, basically.
87 minute, 2-0 down.
Exactly. Normally you think, right, we're going home, or we've got to get our trains home. You know, they've probably taken them 6 or 7 hours to get here.
I've done it, Perry. I've left when you think it's over. That's why you stay.
That's why we love football. That's why we love the unscripted dramas football, because when the first goal went in, Semenyo, there's a great cross from the left from Ouattara. Semenyo taps in from 3 yards, completely unmarked, and then you think, well, this could be a tricky last 7 or 8 minutes for Everton. And I said they would like a heavyweight boxer that had been jabbed, and then they were punch drunk, and then it was like they were waiting for a knockout punch, and it came. And it came obviously from Sinistera.
They had 2 chances before that. Pickford made a great save at 2-2.
From Semenyo at the edge of the box, exactly. Yeah. And I saw Sean Dyche, Everton manager, he kept pointing at his head to say, come on, we need some leadership qualities here. We've all got to stick together. We've just got to keep our shape. Everton completely lost their shape. This actually is going to have a massive effect on Everton's season. We're going into the international break where Everton fans, I think they're going on a massive up and a massive high. I don't think they could be any lower than what they are at the moment.
Our producer Sam has just reminded me that when I read out the in-running game odds with 10 minutes to go, 55 to 1.
55 to 1, I remembered you saying, for a Bournemouth win.
That's what we were seeing. I would have given you 155 to 1, because Bournemouth weren't in the game for 85 minutes.
I was on the computer, on that website, bet in the house. No, I wasn't. I wish I was. The Bournemouth fans are still in position, still celebrating. Zombified, you used the word. They punch drunk, zombified. What causes that, Perry?
I think it's a lack of leadership, to be fair. I'm looking at the 2 centre-halves, at Tarkowski and Michael Keane. You know, they've got to galvanise.
Who showed leadership for the second goal. Tarkowski recycled the ball, Keane scored the goal, but ultimately, when they needed them to stand up, they weren't there.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned the Semenyo effort from the D when Bournemouth were 2-1 down, low down to Jordan Pickford's left-hand side. Brilliant save. He got up and he started shouting and bellowing at his Everton players. And I was thinking, you're going a bit over the top there, Jordan. But he could sense it. He could feel it. And for then what happens as well when you're a Bournemouth player, you can sense that you've got your opposition. You can sense that they've gone. And they had absolutely gone. All they had to do, even when they were 2-1 up Everton, is just keep putting it in the corners. Just putting it in corners, turn Bournemouth around. They didn't. And I wonder, obviously, Sean Dyche took off Iliman Ndiaye,
who was the man of the match.
He was the man of the match, and he was the one who was creating all problems. And then when Doucouré went on, I'm not saying it was Doucouré's fault, but Everton just seemed to lose their momentum. You know, that
he was the outlet, wasn't it? And the way that Ndiaye scraps for the ball.
Yeah.
He loses the ball, he gets the ball back.
But also as well, it sort of sends out a negative vibe to the team. So Doucouré's coming on, we're going to sit back, you know, we're just try and see this game, see this game out. But you've got to say, from Bournemouth's point of view, the 3 goals were top quality. Just crosses in, the first one from left-hand side from Ouattara, the second one from the right-hand side from Sinistera, and then the third one from Kluivert over from the left-hand side. Brilliant balls into the box. But it's the old thing as well, you have to stop the crosses in the wide areas. Everton didn't do that because they were completely shot to bits.
Didn't see that coming at half-time, did we, at 0-0?
No.
None of it.
Well, we said it needed a spark, didn't we? Needed igniting, and boy, did we get it.
Yeah, petrol can went up.
I'm still a little bit shocked myself. You know,
the whole stadium is. I mean, I know everyone's left, but you can tell in this press box, everyone's just a little bit like, I can't quite believe
the sign was the silence that greeted the first Bournemouth goal, never mind the equaliser, because Everton fans were probably thinking back to a year ago when they lost their first 4 of last season, and they're thinking deja vu, not again, because suddenly every pass was misplaced, every intended simple ball became the most difficult ball to play in history.
And Bournemouth were very average for 87 minutes. They offered nothing.
They didn't offer a
first shot
great
on
deal.
target came in 82.
Well, I mean, the first half was fairly even. Everton shaded it, definitely, but, you know, they weren't really testing Kepa left, right and centre. However, that purple patch where Everton went 2-0 up, you thought, well, there's no way back for Bournemouth. Everton have suddenly found their confidence. We saw Njai applauded off the pitch for
standing ovation.
Yeah, now he can probably say that, well, it's not my fault, lads.
Job done, guys.
We were
2-0
up.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you look at managers, and always say that managers, if their team are not influencing the game, the manager try and do that. That's exactly what Andone Iraola did, because he made his 5 substitutions. He put Ouattara on at left back, Sinisterra went out on to the left hand side, then he put Kluivert through the middle, Semenyo stayed on the right hand side, and then Alex Ott went in the centre midfield. And when Everton lost their shape, then that little bit of quality came in, as I said, from the wide areas. And he'll say about, you know, resilience and spirit and keep going to the end. Because even in his head, Andone Iraola, he'll be thinking about the rollicking he was going to give his Bournemouth team, because they were abject for 85 minutes, weren't they? Because we thought they were going to be nasty, going to be horrible. They committed the most fouls from the beginning last season to now, and we didn't see that. But that turnaround is it's mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. The Bournemouth fans may be thinking, we might be on match today first tonight.
Yeah, they might well be, especially if we could just show the last 10 minutes.
I think you don't want Arsenal on first.
I asked you pre-match if pressure mounts on Sean Dyche with a defeat. Now, obviously, they were excellent for 80 minutes. Well, for the second half, anyway, until it all went horribly wrong. With a defeat like that, heading into an international break, I'll ask you the same question. Does pressure mount on Sean Dyche with a defeat like that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think maybe from the outside it might do, but I don't think from within, because he will be saying that it was a really good performance for 87 minutes. So he's got to try and get the positive out of it, because when he goes in the dressing room, he's not going to read the right act, because these Bournemouth players will be lying the snake's belly now. The Everton players, they'll be lying the snake's belly in there, because they'll realise, they'll probably be thinking, how have we done that? How have we just snatched defeat from the jaws of victory? They won't be able to work it out. But that comes from, as I said, a lack of leadership. You know, you've got experienced players in Jordan Pickford, in Michael Keane, in James Tarkowski. And also, even at like 2-0, Everton were piling forward. They were piling. I kept saying, didn't I, in commentary, that Irabonum and Idrissa Gueye, just got to sit. Just keep your back 4 and put them 2 in front of you, and you've got 6 to break down. Because they lost their shape, that gave Bournemouth the chance in the wide areas.
He gets drawn forward, doesn't he, Irabonum?
Exactly, to get their crosses in. Say they were quality crosses. And the thing that epitomised it, when Dan said in commentary, Lewis Cook gets the equalising goal, he's 5'6".
One of the smallest men on the pitch, if not the smallest.
And he's totally unmarked in the 6-yard box, and he gets the equaliser with a header.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 giants of centre halves have got to be looking at each other and think, well, there's no communication there. One of us has got to be picking them up.
Let's also credit Bournemouth for being able to drag all those players out of position when they don't really have a genuine number 9 up there at that time. You've got Kluivert, you've got Ouattara, you've got Sinisterra, you've got Tavernier, but they're going like the red and black arrows. They're going in all different areas, and they're dragging Everton players out of position. It's actually quite smart from what those players were doing.
Yeah, and a group of wasps just stinging away.
Yeah, and what it was like, Kluivert, his movement is very clever, and say in those wide areas, but also you've got to have the quality in the wide areas, and the 3 crosses that they put in were of top quality, the right delivery at the right time, and this is going to be so tough for Sean Dyche in his post-match interview, because say he'll be probably looking at that thinking this has been a really good performance, and just that 10 minutes, because say 87th minute Semenyo scores, and then 90 plus 6 Sinisterra gets the winner. Just that's the, I can't remember a bigger turnaround that I've seen when a team have been so outplayed for such a long period of time and completely spin it around. A bit like Kylie Minogue.
On that note, we'll turn our attention to Man of the Match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the Match on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Perry, you're in the mix for man of the match with your alliteration, your metaphors, your similes, lower than a snake's belly, spinning around like Kylie Minogue. I've got on my notes a list of players that could well have been man of the match, and all of them were playing in blue, and all of them were heading for their first win of the season. I absolutely love what I saw from Illiman and Jai today. I thought Irobanham was excellent. But sometimes people always lean for a man of the match from the winning team. So which way are you going to go?
I'll just have to scrub it all out. You mentioned Irobanham. I thought he was very good in that centre midfield area. And Jai was outstanding, especially in the second half. Calvert-Lewin led the line really well with a golden assist. But you can't not give the man of the match to a team that's been dead and buried for 87 minutes and then spun it around completely. So I'm going to give it to Sinistera, because when you make they're called the impactors now, aren't they, or the finishers?
Finishers, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a better example of a finisher. He gets his assist for the first goal, which is a brilliant cross from the right-hand side. Lewis Cook gets the header. Then from the second goal, it's a brilliant cross from Clivert from left-hand side. Sinistera, again, is unmarked at the far post with a header, but he's got to make sure that he gets into the 6-yard box. So he has to be Sinistera.
Sinistera for you. Dance, I can see wistfully.
He's going for Ndai.
I'm just, Njai's probably going in the sponsors' lounge. He's now going, "What my fault, Gov?"
Yeah.
2-0 up.
Not only have we lost 3 points after I left the field, I've also lost my man of the match, Gong.
Yeah, I would still give it to Njai. I've, as Perry said in commentary, rarely do you see a standing ovation to a player who's not been taken off, but just doing something to get fans engaged. The more he plays, the better he'll get. So that's one little green shoot that we can offer the Everton fans listening to this as they drive home. But they will ring Jamie and Jason on Talksport tonight, more than a tad disgruntled.
Yeah, and none of them have stayed around to hear what we've got to say. So if you are listening in the car, it's not gone your way, Everton fans. Bournemouth winning it 3-2 somehow from the depths of despair. That was our man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.